You guys chime on in, and we're going to get started. I'm just setting up, so if you're coming in, give me a couple minutes and I'm gonna let everybody chime in and get their stuff ready. If you're gonna be following along. Okay. Got music in my head because YouTube would not allow me to monetize my video if I played music. Hello. Hello, Erica. Hello, Sophia. Hello, Brenda. What is up, everybody? Let me get my rag. I got a rag that I can wipe down my surface area with. Got a paper towel to dry my hands. I just stick these in the drawer in front of me. Okay, I'm gonna try to pronounce this. Hello, Gianna? Sorry, hopefully I'm pronouncing that somewhat right. Hello, Rita. I see, no, you're very much welcome. I'm gonna call you Miss Smith because I don't want to botch your first name. Tomorrow? It's like tomorrow? So yeah, I'm gonna say Miss Smith, and hopefully you're Mrs., if I'm not wrong. And Chrissy D, hello. Hello, everybody, hello. Oh, this camera angle is not flattering whatsoever. Not flattering at all. I'm not gonna put an apron on because it's extremely hot in here. Let me go turn the air up. Like, I'm under these lights, it's really hot. Okay. All right. Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? So that way I know that you'll be able to follow along. Can you guys see my cake stand? My turntable here. I want to make sure you can see what's happening. And then when we go to the fondant part, I'll move the camera so that we can see more of the table. Okay, all right, we got a good group coming in. Hello. Welcome back to More Cake. Yes, I'm Badass at Heart. I'm your girl, Jelena, and today I'm doing a free quarantine class, cake class, for all of you who are at home by yourself, with your better half, with your children, and you needed something to do today, so I thought I would do a impromptu class. And then I know a lot of beginners always want to kind of see firsthand what it looks like for someone else to frost a cake. I sometimes call myself a pro. I'm still an amateur at a lot of things, but frosting and covering in fondant, I am not an amateur at because I have done it a trillion times. Sometimes I mess up and then have to redo it, but I've done it a trillion times. So in this class today, we're going to frost 4 layers of cake and then panel the cake and fond it. If you don't know what paneling is, don't worry, you're going to learn today. I'm going to work my best. I can't even say hand to God because it's not even going to be true. I'm going to work my best on making this an hour and a half. And I know that's not going to happen. But I'm going to work my best on keeping this an hour and a half. I know everybody's going to have questions. Some people are going to have comments, which does take up a lot of time. So I want to make sure I work in a quick speed. I don't want to take up everybody's time because, you know, I don't know if you guys have something else to do. So I want to make sure I get to all the actual points that we're going to be doing today. So I actually left a tool list on my Instagram page. If you don't know what that tool list is, go take a quick look, but I'm going to go over the tools I'll be using. I have a spatula, which I don't think I put on the tool list, but I have a spatula, and then I have an offset spatula. Sometimes when I do in-person classes and I put on the tool list to bring like an offset spatula, people tend to get confused between what's a spatula and an offset spatula. This is an offset spatula. And then sometimes, I don't even think I have one. There it goes. Sometimes people bring like one of these, right? We don't want one of these. We don't want it to be flat. We want it to be an offset spatula. So that when we hold it up to the cake, we can control this part of it. Because if I was trying to frost the cake with this one, it would just get all on the handles. So this way it's offset and it won't touch, right? We don't use this to frost our cakes. That's not what we're doing in this class. I know a lot of people have done it before, but that's not what we're doing today, okay? We're going to use an offset spatula. I'm actually going to use a smaller 6-inch offset spatula. You're more than welcome to use the bigger one, but I like to use the smaller one even when I do bigger cakes because it's better to handle, and I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit psychotic. I do have a serrated knife. You don't need a serrated knife if you don't have one. But if you do have one, go ahead and grab it. Sometimes they call them a bread knife, but it's also called a serrated knife because it has all of these blades here on it. What else did I say? Oh, you want to go ahead and grab yourself a couple of cake boards. Now, I said I'm going to be doing 6-inch cakes. If you pick different sizes, that's fine too. I'm doing 6 inches, and no matter what size you're doing, just grab 3 of the cake boards that are the same size as your cake. And then you're going to need a baseboard. Here we go. That's fine. You're going to need a baseboard that's just bigger than the actual cake. So I like to use about a 10-inch, and that way I have more room to scrape the sides of my cake. And then it's also easier to pick up the cake without sticking your fingers in the cake. Something I did not put on the tool list that everybody needs is a crumb cup. Okay? Crumb cup. I call them crumb cups because when I go to crumb coat my cake, I put all the frosting that has crumbs in it in a separate cup. So I can continuously use this cup, and say if I have several cakes, I can always just keep using this crumb cup. It's such a tongue twister. This crumb cup frosting on all of the cakes also. And that way my spatula isn't going into the clean buttercream and then touching, you know, the crummy buttercream. You'll see as we go along if I'm sounding confusing, which I feel like I am. I have my 4 cake layers. I have not torted them because I'm going to show you guys how I tort my cakes. I've done this several times before. I've also done it live. I've also done it in several of my YouTube videos if you guys watch them. So some of this may not be new to you guys, but it'll be the first time you're watching it live. If we disconnect, don't worry, I will come right back because I will finish frosting and covering this cake on live. So just an FYI because it is raining here. I have my turntable. This turntable, a lot of people always ask me where I get my turntable from. It is from Sugarworks. Innovative Sugarworks. They have this. Last time I checked, they were out of stock, but you can go back and check. This is one of the major things they tend to have. How long have I been frozen for? Because I've been talking on and just on and on. What was the last thing you guys heard me say? How bloody frustrating. Literally was having a full-on conversation. Crumb cup? I got as far as the crumb. Oh, somebody else just heard about the turntable. Damn it. Turntable. Okay, because I see it's stuttering again. Hold on, let me check my camera real quick. Because I don't know if you guys heard me say that if this cuts off today, I'm going to keep coming back because I will finish this live. So, just an FYI. And it's raining today, so that's probably why we're having like shoddy internet. But hold on. Okay. Hopefully this is working. Can you guys hear me? Probably doesn't help that I keep freezing my body because then it doesn't, you guys don't know if I'm actually frozen. I'm not frozen, I'm moving. Tell me if you guys hear me. We almost got everybody back. You're good. You're gonna do your thing. Okay, perfect. Yes, I heard you say it may stop due to the rain and you would come back every time. Thank you for letting us know. Awesome. Okay, so let me just go back to, somebody said they heard me say about Crumb Cup, and then I started explaining to you guys the turntable you can get at Innovative Sugar Works. I'm trying to go fast because I was talking to myself and then everybody was like, you're frozen, and I didn't even notice. Silicone mat to hold down the cake. I have some tape also that wasn't on the tool list, so if you want to go grab some tape. And that's just to help your cake board stick to your base board. Some alternatives for scraping your cake. I have several different scrapers. I use this metal one a lot. You guys have seen it. You can also use a ruler as long as it's designated for cake making. Use a ruler. It'll help out if you don't have one. You can also use your offset spatula, but what best works is something that has a 90-degree angle on the bottom. I was explaining to you guys that if you ever need a bench scraper or a cake scraper for the real cheap, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's or any one of your construction stores, you know, where there's wood and hammers and stuff. And you can go ahead and grab a bench scraper. And as long as it has a 90-degree angle, it'll work for you. This one costs about $4. I use these in my class. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss anything. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss anything. Yes, and I will repeat again that if I do freeze, I will stay until I finish. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to grab my baseboard. It's just this, Wilton has these like plastic boards now, so we'll grab this baseboard. I'm going to grab some tape. This is not the right tape I want to use, but it's the only one I have in front of me. But just want to grab some tape to put at the bottom so I can hold my cake board so it doesn't shift around. How many of you will be following along today? Do you have your own cakes baked today that you will be following along with me? I want to know who else is frosting cakes and covering their cakes in fondant today. I'm going to put my board down. Cool. Alright, I'm going to get everything away from me that I'm not going to use. I'm going to use a small offset spatula. I'm going to put this off to the side. If you guys watched me live before, you know I like a clean area. I can't stand clutter. All right, and I'm going to torte mes cakes. Sophia, am I still buffering for you? All right, so you're gonna want to grab your knife or your serrated knife or your bread knife, whatever you may have handy. And I keep my cakes in the pan and I keep them cool. Let them sit in the fridge or the freezer in the pan so they can cool off. Usually in the freezer, it tends to, when you take them out, your cakes will be probably frozen, but that's okay because when they frost, they get moist. And yeah, that's even better. It tastes even better. But I just put my hand on top and I use my serrated knife up against the cake and I cut. And that's it. I'm going to keep this because you guys are going to be surprised about what I'm going to make. Not today, but later. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a butter knife, something that I can go ahead and scrape the inside of my pans to release the cake from the side. Being careful not to like jab on my cake. Pull it out and voila. If you don't know what I do, I only use parchment paper at the bottom of my pan. I don't put any cake goop, I don't put any spray, I don't use any of those things. I just use parchment paper. That's it. Yes, I'm going to make red velvet cake today. Disaster. Yes, the freezer is my life. Freezer is my life too. A lot of people don't like freezing their cakes or they think freezing cakes is bad. But freezing cakes, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you got them covered. Obviously, you don't want to keep a cake in the freezer for months on end or weeks on end, you know what I mean? But freezing your cakes can help, especially when you have tall cakes or you need to slope cakes. I do notice it keeps buffering, but if you guys just bear with me, stick around. I promise you're going to learn something today. What I'm seeing as I look at my screen, it's there's a delay, so that's a good thing. Oh, these cakes are holy. I don't think I patted them down enough. What you want to do when you make cake is when you put the batter in the pan, you want to like dab it down so all of the air bubbles in the cake can form to the top, right? So that way you don't have all these holes in your cake. I didn't really dab it down that much because no one's eating this cake and this was literally for tutorial purposes, but I thought I dabbed it enough. Apparently not. No, I do not. I'm just answering questions that are coming in my head. No, I do not take the crust off my cake. I find that rude because the crust to me is my favorite part about cake. I love having a corner piece that has crust on a cake. I love the tops. I don't know. It's just, to me, that's like really delicious. So I never do. It's okay if you do. It's fine. It's a preference to everybody. Okay, dokie. Let me put these off to the side, get these out of my way. And I'm going to wipe off my table. I have to change my tabletop. Oh, poor thing. It's been through a lot. Okay. Alright, so you guys saw how I prepped my board. That's how I do every cake all the time. I'm going to go ahead and put some buttercream down on it. Don't worry, I will stop every few seconds to make sure I'm answering any of you guys' questions. I just want to make sure I have a good flow of getting to where I want to go in this video today. Alright, so I got some buttercream on my board, right? Remember, I got my crumb cup off to the side. I no longer need this, so I'm going to get rid of it out of my way. Oh, the other thing you want to make sure you have is your bubble straws. I didn't mention that. But I did put that in the tool list, so I'm going to have some bubble straws, okay? At least 6 of them. Alright, and we're going to put our first cake down. It doesn't really matter if you want to put it upside down or right side up. Again, that's another preference. will push it down because sometimes the cake doesn't actually adhere to the board, so you want to make sure it adheres to the board. Add your buttercream. This buttercream smells so good. It has like vanilla caramel in it. Alright, so frosting. Okay, because I normally do this really fast, but I forgot I'm actually teaching you guys how to do this. Alright, so frosting. What you want to do is you put a dab of buttercream on a layer of cake. You grab your offset spatula, only using about the first 2 inches of your offset spatula, right? Because that's the part that you're trying to control. Do not use the entire flat surface. Use about 1 inch to 2 inches, okay? You guys are going to notice that's pretty much all I'm going to use with my offset spatula when it comes to frosting each layer. So I'm going to put it down. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm not worried about it being, straight or smooth. I'm worried about covering the surface first. Going back and forth, and at the same time, using my opposite hand, I'm going to be turning my turntable slowly for those who are beginners at this. Right? So you see how I've now covered, not putting it back in there, I'm putting it in the crumb cup. Now you guys are going to understand what I mean about the crumb cup. Right? And then now, we're going to make it nice and smooth. So I'm going to go a little more faster, keeping the arm that has the spatula in it stiff. You see it's not moving? And just turning the turntable. Cleaning off the offset spatula and doing it again. You guys are going to hear a lot of repetition of me saying, clean off your spatula. For heaven's sakes, clean off your spatula. Ugh. You guys have to do that. In my class, I tell them all the time, clean the offset spatula off. Clean your scraper off. Clean up. I say it all the time, and then I'll turn around and I'll have a student that has buttercream everywhere because they didn't clean off their spatula. You have to clean it off. So see, now I got a nice smooth surface here. I'm going to go ahead and put on my next layer. So this is what some people would call a double layer cake. I'm putting this layer upside down. Not a double layer cake, a double barrel cake. I'm pushing down to make sure, one, that my cake is even, and then also there's no air bubbles in between, because that will mess up when you frost your final cake. You can get air bubbles coming out and it makes bulges, and you don't want that. Alright, let me go ahead and see if I've lost anybody or if I have any questions. My 6-inch cake doesn't look like that. Why is that? Am I pouring enough cake mix? Okay, so when the batter that I use, so I use cake mix, box cake, Betty Crocker, she's my go-to girl, a lot. I do bake from scratch sometimes, but I prefer a box mix and I can doctor it up. So that's my spew about that. But what you do is 1 box mix cut in half is 2 6-inches, right? 1 box mix by itself is an 8-inch pan. I use Wilton 2-inch deep pans, and I pour a third up. So you want to make sure you pour a third up, and the way that you know you've poured a third up in the pan is 1 for an 8-inch, it'll be all the batter. For 6 inches, you want to make sure it's even, and if it helps, you can weigh it. But also, just by looking at it, you can actually stick your finger in it, and from the actual finger, your actual finger here, to maybe about to the first crease or lower would be where your third is. So that should not go into the cake. You should be able to put that, let me get a pan. You should be able to put that in your pan, and then that's where your cake should be. That's as high as it should go. That's for me, that's how I view it. I know now by just sight, I don't have to stick my finger in, but if that will help you to know how high you should go. So, but I have frosting in it. So, this is my 2 layers. And now what I want to do, I want to do a very thin layer of buttercream. Well, no, not thin layer of buttercream. That comes after. We're going to go ahead and grab our bobo straws. And I'm going to go stick them in. And the way that I like to start is first, what do I want to say? Like a cross or a plus sign. 4 corners, north, west, south, east. Yeah. So I'm going north, south, you can see that's crooked, excuse me, west, east. I could have totally done all of these one color. So because this is a 6-inch, I don't really need that many bubble straws. I do not put a bubble straw in the middle of my cake because what I end up doing is when I have tall tiers and then more layers and more tiers, I stick a very long dowel down the middle of my cake, and it'll go down the middle of each tier so everything can stay together. If you guys notice, Wilton actually sells their cake boards with a hole in the middle just for that reason, okay? So I never stick one in the middle. So what I do is I start off with the cross, or compass, north, south, east, west, whatever. And then you can go catty, it's not catty corner, but every other one. So then I would stick some like in the middle of each one, like the bigger the cake is. And I just keep going in that same pattern over and over again. But I've never done more than like 10 bubble straws because I kind of try to separate them and space them out a little bit. Again, this is a 6-inch, you don't really need that much. Sorry, let's go to the next question. Or comment. Thank you for the class. No, my pleasure. Who said that? I'm here. I'm here. I'm not frozen. I'm here. Okay, I was saying hi, Louis, because I saw Louis be here. Okay, so what's happening is, I'm sorry, I just had to wake up my man because it keeps freezing and I don't know why. What's happening is it keeps freezing. So can you sit there? And every time it'll turn gray, and then like that's how you know it's being frozen. Just hit the reconnect button. It's fine now. Or you want to sit? You want to sit there? I know. I'm sorry. He was sleeping, and I was like, no, somebody got to come help me. All right. Going back to your questions. You're welcome. I'm trying to catch up, guys. Sorry. You put the straws for support. The bubble straws help you support your cake. Because when you have several layers, it gets really heavy, and you don't want any bubbles or any air coming out, so you want some support or anything. If you put anything on top of your cake, it tends to push down and makes your buttercream bulge out and your fondant. It's weird because that's what I do, and I believe I once measured. Okay, you guys are having, no, Wilton is wrong. Where am I? Duke in the house. I see you, Duke. Okay. Cool. Mr. Ken. Yeah, he's Officer Ken is here, y'all. All right. So I have the bubble straws, and I'm going to go ahead and cut them down to size. I know they're sticking out, but don't worry. I still have to put the buttercream on. All right. You know, when you're on time for something, and then you're prepared, and you have everything, but now your internet just keeps buffering. All right, so we're doing the same thing. I put a thin layer of buttercream just to cover up, but I'm only going to put that buttercream only as high as the straws are. Okay, right? I don't know if you guys can't see it, but the straws, let's see. I don't think you guys can see it. Let me look closer. The straws are at the very top. Yeah, probably can't see that either as I'm looking. But the straws are at the very top of my buttercream, like barely even seen. And now I'm going to grab another cake board and put it on top. Okay. One of the things I did put on your tool list is a leveler. That will help to make sure your cake is leveled. Okay, just about there. Yeah. It's a little off, but don't worry. By the end of it, you're not even going to notice. I'm going to go ahead and put another layer of cake. Pushing this over. Put another layer of cake on it. I'm just making sure my board matches the bottom board. Okay. I'm going to put another layer of frosting. What did I say? A cake? Yeah. I'm going to put another layer of frosting on. Just so we can have something the cake will stick to. Alright? And now, again, we're going to repeat ourselves. But this time we don't have to put in any of the straws. Oh, see, now you can definitely tell. This part's a little higher. That's okay. I'm not going to stress it. That's a minor detail. Okay, and now I need some frosting. They can hear you yawning. They probably can hear you yawning. He's back here yawning. Alrighty, again, back and forth. You see, look at all that buttercream right here? Because that's what I'm using. I'm just using from here up. That's all I'm using on my spatula. We'll go back and forth. Make sure I'm having inches. So, do you recommend any cake that is more than 2 layers to add support to? Like, is there a rule? No, there's no rule. I normally would put 4 layers of cake, if the cake was by itself. 4 layers of cake with no inside support if the outside doesn't have like a lot going on. You know, like if there's no toppers or anything like that. You don't have to have inside support for even 3 layers. You'll be good. But it does help, especially if you're a beginner, if you want that extra support and then make sure that your buttercream doesn't bulge. Anytime I have support, it just makes my cake turn out a little more better. After 4 layers, though, I would definitely do some support. Definitely. You don't want anything. I mean, I've done really tall cakes. You guys saw that video that I just posted today. That was 2, 4, 6 or 8 layers. I can't remember. 6 layers of cake, and I definitely put support in between it because the cake does get heavy. So I do recommend you put support for anything bigger than at least 3 layers, but definitely 4 layers. I hope that's the question you were asking. Alright, so I spread my buttercream, and now I'm just going to smooth it. Remember, keeping this arm stiff, but using my opposite hand to turn the turntable. And if you notice, my spatula, the point is just a little bit past the circle. Just a little bit, not past the circle. A little bit past the center point when I turn. And then I clean off your spatula. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says clean off your spatula. Does your buttercream recipe taste like the one from the store? My buttercream recipe can taste like the one from the store, but you could always add more. Like this current buttercream does not taste like the one from the store. It's the same texture, but the taste is different because I actually put creamer in it, and the creamer is a vanilla caramel creamer. But yes, you can use the rest. I know I have a video on my YouTube channel. You can use that one to be just like the one at Publix, because that's what everybody tends to want. As far as their customers, they tend to want the buttercream from Publix. La 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 la. I love a tall cake. Me too. Unique says, fix it, Officer Ken. The camera. I'm so late in the comments. Somebody called you. Sorry, Mr. More Cakes.
More cakes?
Yeah. Hello, how are you doing? Has the business been affected by this virus? Hi, how are you? No, business is going great. All my business happens to be online, so I've been doing good. I know a lot of you had to cancel orders and everything, and I say do the best you can. Refunds or credits, you know what I mean? Try to help out, because at the end of the day, we're all being affected by this, and I know for a lot of us, this isn't your main job, you know what I mean? So if it's not your main job, I would also, do the best you can to kind of help your customers out, because on the shelves. Like, what got me was that there was no baby wipes, and I almost started crying. Like, we're good with baby wipes, but the fact that there's no baby wipes there, and I can only imagine the moms who need baby wipes for their kids. That hurt. So everything's been good, and I hope all of you been good too. Okay, now we're gonna go into the crumb coating part. So this is what your cake should look like right now. Oh, it looks pretty good on screen. So crumb coating. So you see all this frosting hanging off the sides of it? I'm gonna center that. All the frosting hanging off the sides of it. So I'm gonna use this frosting first, and I'm just gonna do like a, an up and down situation. Just spreading my buttercream. You can do it like this, whatever you're comfortable with. I know a lot of people do this. I tend to do this a lot, but I also feel like when I do this, people feel like they don't want to try as much because they think that's some professional way of holding your spatula. It doesn't matter. We're just frosting cakes here. It's no big deal. Hey, we're just frosting cakes. Right? If we mess up, we can always bake another and restart again. We don't want to, but we can still do that. Okay. So I'm going to take some of the crumb cup buttercream and begin to crumb frost my cake. You see I'm going from the bottom, and I'm going to take this all the way around, continuously using as much as I can of this from the cup. I want to cover my entire cake, so that way none of these crumbs are shown in the final result. Get some more buttercream. And it's just a thin layer. You don't have to do like a giant layer of buttercream. I know it's hard. A lot of people tend to start wanting to like frost perfectly at this stage. You don't have to frost perfectly. We're just trying to cover the cake to ensure we lock in the crumbs. Right? Another reason you put cake support like this board. Say, for example, if your cake like breaks off. You guys have seen a lot of footage of me frosting cakes sometimes, and the cakes are like wonky looking or not straight. It really helps to have that inside support because that's going to essentially hold your cake up, and the wonky cake won't affect anything. For those of you who are intimidated by frosting cakes, you don't need to be. Trust me, I've had cakes fall over. I've had customers not like their cakes. I've had bulging in my cakes. A cake that fell over once, it wasn't my fault though. The lady full on, oh no, one of them was my fault. But a lady full on dropped her cake as she was going into her job, not her job, but to her party. But that was on her. But I didn't drop my cake, but the cake was in the car, and it just, remember that cake that we delivered the first time we were trying to deliver a cake here in Georgia? I was a mess. It was in the back seat, the trunk of the car, and I was looking at it. I was like, okay, it's fine. And we went down this hill, and the cake just fell over. And there was no inside structure. It just fell over. And I almost died. We were on the way to delivery. I could have died. Thank God it was a cake for my cousin, and she was 1,000% understandable. I could have died. But it's just cake. Like, I just always try to say, like, just F it. It's just cake. Relax. We're not curing cancer. Yes, we're putting smiles on people's faces, but you want to make sure you're happy about what you're providing customers, and if you're not happy, then what's the point? Right? Because that's why we all do stuff. We do it because it makes us happy to create something. If you guys are writing anything, don't worry. I will read it. I just want to get to a stopping point. All I did was crumb coat my cake. Nothing fancy. You guys saw my handwork. It was nothing fancy. It was literally the crappiest frost job I've ever seen. Just going back around, making sure I get any, like, areas I didn't touch frosting with the cake. Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm not even going to smooth that over. Something's happening.
People was talking.
No, it was freezing.
The minutes are still going.
It's still going? Okay. I saw it freezing, so I was like, It just keeps buffering. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's so frustrating. Anyways, now I'm going to clean off my baseboard. Clean off my area. Because when we go to do the final coat, we don't want any crumbs laying around, right? We don't need anything lingering around, trying to get into our cake. And then I'm going to stick this cake in the fridge. You can definitely stick it in the freezer, but I'm going to go ahead and stick mine in the fridge because I don't want any moisture when I go to put the fondant on. Okay. Alright, so this is the point that you should stop because now we've crumb coated our cake. Put your cake in the fridge or the freezer, your choice, and we're going to take it out when it is firm to the touch, which means when I pick my hand off the cake, I shouldn't have frosting on it, right? So that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the fridge. You see how easy that was to pick up the cake? See that? Look at that. Didn't get my finger in it. I'm able to hold it. No issues. That is why you do the baseboard, and then you also do your cake board. Alright. So let me go back to, where were we? Oh, there's a lot of conversation here. I'm trying to keep up. I think next time what I need to do is have somebody read off what's happening. I wish they made a turntable tall enough for people who are 5'8" and up. It's more about your table. You just have to have a higher table. That's all. I know a lot of people like to use like their dining room table. That's too low for me to use like a regular dining room table because then I have to slouch over. I like to use a really tall table. I think you would ask how many layers they want. That's what I always ask. Some customers get confused with layers, like with something else. That's true. Thank you so much for sharing with us your lovely talent. You're welcome. Somebody named Goob is saying this. I love everything you do. You're a really talented person. Many blessings for you and your family. Thank you so much. That was really nice of you to say that. Ditto. Like I love that. Smart. Charge for extra details. Yes. Oh, speaking of charging, I'm just going to drop something for you guys. So I came out with my How to Price Your Cakes ebook, and it's based off of my Pricing with Confident, no, How to Price Your Cakes Confidently ebook. That's what it's called. And it's based off of my Pricing with Confidence cake class. I sound really confused because I can't remember what my cake class is called because it's been a while since I taught it. But it's a class that I would teach going all around to different states teaching this class, and I've taught it for several years online. And some people in the live right now who are in the chat have taken this class online and in person, and some people are in my HBIC group. If you're in my HBIC group, make sure you support and tell everybody in the HBIC group, where this week we're going over business plans. But my point is that I just came out with my ebook. It is downloadable, it is printable, you can read it and look at it on all of your electronic devices, from your phone to your tablets to your computer, and you can download it on any one of those items as well. So if you want to get your hands on this pricing book, I go through details with you guys. Details, okay? I take you step by step. I also have a follow-along video, which is an add-on if you want to add that onto it too. But all of that can be found on my website, morecakeym.com. Or if you're confused, make sure you just go to my Instagram, Jelena Simpson, and the link is in my Instagram. So, and if you have taken the class, tell everybody how amazing the class is, because that's how confident I am. I'm so confident that I do not have one student, and I know I'm setting myself up. Put it out there. You may want to check that out. All right, so going back to pricing. I get upset. Y'all have like a whole side conversation. You see? Is it buffering?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that's what it like keeps doing on my screen.
It's 47 minutes.
Am I going to make my own wedding cake when the time comes? Absolutely not. I want to be pampered and catered to, so I will be hiring somebody to make my wedding cake for me. Mm-hmm. It did freeze when she said something is happening. See, yeah, it's I see it on my side that it keeps like freezing and then it'll play. But what he's looking at, it's not showing him anything. So I'm not sure why. If I don't know, guys, I don't know. If I miss any questions, please repeat yourself. It's kind of hard to kind of keep up. There's so much I'm reading. I've taken the class. I need the book as a refresher. Come on, Asia. Come on, girl. Come on. How do you mean close to edge? Because I know I never had this problem when I didn't use cake boards. Huh? I feel like the cake board is in the way of my scraper. Oh, well, I like to use the cake board because I felt like the other stuff was in the way of my scraper. And then I didn't want to always like clean off my turntable or my surface area of all the buttercream. So that also is another reason why I put that baseboard down. Hello, hello. It's buffering. Yes, I know. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Awesome instructor. Thank you, Miss Wright. I appreciate that. Okay, so I have that going in there. It needs time to kind of just chill and sit for a second. And in the meantime, now that I've caught up in the conversation that's happening here, I'm going to change this. What should I change it to? Give me some suggestions. Can you grab the letters out from there? You know, because like this, there's no TV magic here. This is live. And because this is live, you guys are getting like the intermission part where I honestly, thank you. I honestly have nothing planned for the intermission part. So, but I do want to change my sign here to say something, I don't know. What do you think I should put?
Quarantine Bay.
Quarantine Bay. Oh, that's smart. That's what we're going to put. Quarantine Bay. Patience is a virtue. What are you guys up to? Have you guys have like provisions, speaking of quarantine? Are you guys all shopped up and got all the things that you need? How do you spell quarantine? Q-U.
Hey.
Q-U-A. R. Okay, Officer Cam, we're going to have to hire you for the quotes and this. That's, you see what you need is ready? The pricing book is amazing. Thank you, Bailey. Cakin through Corona. I love that. Cakin through Corona. That is so cute. Cakin through Corona. Okay. All right, so we're going to have to take a vote now because I love both of them. We got Quarantine Bay and we got Cakin through Corona. You guys vote. Is it Cakin through Corona or Quarantine Bay? Because I don't know now. Because what I want to do after the class, I'm going to take the cake and take a picture of the cake with the sign. So, is it Cakin through Corona or Quarantine Bay? What's Cakin through Corona makes me giggle. Let me get my letters together for the Cakin through Corona, just in case that's the winner. The pricing book is legit for real. There's no way you will have to ever ask how much I charge for this cake. Yes, Unique Duke should know because she edited the book for me. So she knows. She read through that whole thing. So if there's something misspelled, it's her fault. Where's the C? Baking. I need a K. Oh Lord, it's gonna take. Oh, here we go.
So we got 2 for Cake and Corona and.
I got 2 for Cakin and Corona.
3 for Cake and Corona.
3 for Cakin and Corona.
2 for Quarantine Bay.
Head quarantine Somebody wrote head quarantine cake bitch and that's a lot. HQBIC yeah BIC. Oh no, HQCBIC.
4 for cake.
4.
Yeah.
Do you want to hold on to this so it'll be better for you to read? Hey.
Oh, 5 kicking in corona.
Yeah, I feel like caking through Corona is gonna work, babe. What do you think about caking through Corona?
It's fine.
He's like, it's fine, whatever.
6.
Quarantine Bay's just losing. Quarantine Bay will have to be for next week.
7.
Caking through Coro. How am I supposed? I need a O.
I think they're just trying to make you spell a whole sentence.
Make me spell what whole sentence? Caking through Corona?
Yeah.
That's what I'm spelling. That's what I would be writing. Oh, Corona. I need an N. Caking. Now I need to write through. TH. I need an R and I need a U. I got a U. Oh, and I got an R. Boom! Caking through Corona is what it's going to be. Okay. These up here. What a good one. Who gave us that? Who was the person who gave us that? I'm going back up. Chandra Patty Cakes, thank you. Yeah, I think it was Chandra Patty Cakes. Yep, thanks, girl. Caking through Corona. You guys are so clever. Genius. All right, I want to make sure I get good placement. Oh my God. Okay. I may have to center that a little bit. What do you think? Cute, right? Did I spell everything right? That cute? That cute? I was about to say take a picture and then it fell. Okay, now take a picture.
You talking to me?
No, I'm
Oh.
talking to them. Someone take a really good photo, screenshot, and DM it to me.
Your friend's laughing at you.
Who's laughing at? Oh, because I dropped the thing. She's probably like, Jesus, Jelena. Let me go on this side. I'm pausing as if I think someone's taking a photo of me. Hopefully someone is. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. I just scratched up my whole leg. Okay. Let me clean this up and then I'm going to go grab the cake. Hopefully it's ready. And then we can final coat it. And then we got to stick it back in the fridge. And then we're going to cover it and fond it. Remember I said I'm going to try to keep this to an hour and a half? Child, we passed that a whole 30 minutes ago. That was a lot. And we all we got to was the creme coat face. Okie dokie. So we got our cake. Yeah, see? No frosting. That's what we're looking for. Okay, set myself back up here. Take a swig of something to drink. Finding myself real parched. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Laugh out loud, I didn't, but I have Insta or any social media. Oh, I don't have Insta. Will definitely make more sense 10 years from now. Laugh out loud. I really like Quarantine Bay though. You may need to incorporate Corona in it. I know, I love the Quarantine Bay one, so I really want to use that one probably for next week. That should be a hashtag when we do our cake class. Yes! When you guys go and post your cakes, because I'm hoping that later today you're gonna go make your cakes, frost your cakes, cover in fondant, hashtag it, caking through Corona, and then at me so I can repost your cakes. I definitely would love that. I think that was genius. All props and shout outs go to Chandra Patty Cakes. Thank you, ma'am. We love it. Okay, now we're gonna frost. Now some people go ahead and just put a giant dollop on the top and then frost all around. I don't do that. I actually start from the bottom of my cakes. So I start all the way from the bottom like that. And I just do that all the way around. All the way around. What's wrong with me? I can't speak. And I just go back and forth. So, if it helps, you could just go like this. If you want to just do that, that's fine. You can do this. All we're doing right now is just covering our cake in buttercream. That's all we're doing. That's it. Don't worry about smoothing. Don't worry about trying to make it look perfect. No. All we're doing is covering our cake in buttercream. That's it. But you want to start from the bottom, and if you're going to start like this, right? Again, if you guys can see, I really only have the first inch and a half to 2 inches of my offset spatula on the cake, and I'm swaying it back and forth to spread the buttercream. Kind of like spreading peanut butter on a piece of bread. But again, we can do this, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll do this so that way you know that someone who's been in the game for 14 years can still do it like this and get the same result. It's not about the method of how you frost the cake, it's about the result and just getting there. Okay, so don't worry about trying to look good doing it. I mean, at least I don't worry about that, only because when I try to look good doing anything, I end up looking like an idiot. I mean, I totally just dropped that whole thing right here. And I'm sure someone got that on a screenshot. At this point, I'm able to stick my spatula in the good buttercream because all of the crumbs are locked in. So I don't have that issue of crumbs getting into the good buttercream. Okay. Let's do the top. I see the chat moving, but I want to finish this this final coat before I answer any questions. So I can come to a stopping point. So just give me a second and then I can reread what you guys wrote. Doing the same thing, I'm just spreading. I'm not worried about smoothing, I'm just spreading all of the buttercream to cover the top as I did, right? And now I'm going to cover, look, nothing fancy. I'm just going to cover the rest of the cake that's showing, that's exposed. Okay. Do we see any holes in the cake? Anywhere you see exposed cake, put some buttercream. Even with your cake board. Hide your cake board. That's showing. We don't want any of that showing. He's over here playing games on his iPad. Well, on my daughter's iPad. Ah! Doesn't it look fancy? Look at that. Look at this professionalism happening here. You want to read off any of the comments happening? Like go back up to like the last thing. Go back up to the last thing that said, Yvonne Ratcliffe. I already read her comment, so read after her.
Can I just pull this up on here?
Yeah. That's why I try to get here. Take this.
No,
Because there's no YouTube on there.
I can't go on YouTube.com on there.
Oh, I don't know. It's gonna make you sign in and everything. I don't know why you just don't take this iPad. I don't understand.
Don't you need it to see? That's what I'm.
No. They see me. Y'all know. Y'all see me. That's all that matters. Okay. Isn't she beautiful in all her lumps and glory? Now that I have her frosted. Oh, I didn't even use the other cake board. That's okay. I'll show you that some other time. That's gonna be way too much time, and we don't have that kind of time. I mean, we do, but we don't want to use all that time. All right. So now that we have her completely covered in buttercream, right? We're gonna take our scraper or our ruler or whatever we have that has a flat edge, right? And we also want a 90-degree angle. So the reason for the 90-degree angle is so that way we can have it flushed on the board. And then we want a flat edge so that way we can have it flushed on the cake. The last thing you want to do is stick this in the cake. You don't want to do that. We want to angle it back. You see how that went forward and the handle part went back towards you, which is me, went back towards me. And then we're going to scrape, okay? That's what you want to do. Now, I can already tell I'm going to need more buttercream here because look at the bottom. You see the bottom already touching the cake and the top not so much? Well, not at all. That's because it's uneven amount of buttercream. But that's fine. We're just going to go ahead and do our first scrape and see what we get. We're going to scrape, keeping the bottom flushed. And you see that gap? That gap tells us that the buttercream is uneven, that there's not enough buttercream at the top. Scrape. And I'm not going to yank this off of my cake. You don't want to do that because you're going to pull cake with you, and you don't want to take cake with you. We're going to slowly just scrape this away from the cake, okay? And then what, class? Everybody repeat after me. And then clean off your scraper. We're going to clean it off. Going to throw all that back in there. Do another scrape. You see how on this side of the cake, how the top part is actually touching the cake? Well, that's because there's enough buttercream on this side. And then if I keep turning, and if you also notice, I'm not moving my right hand. My right hand that's holding this scraper is staying in place. It has not moved. It's everything else that's moving. See the turntable? It's the turntable. It's the cake. My right hand, this side, has not moved. Okay? I'm going to do a nice slow scrape. Get off your scraper. Okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and, let me wipe this buttercream off. I hate when buttercream gets everywhere because then it gets on my fingers, gets in my shirts, gets on my hair, gets everywhere. Alright, so we can leave it like this if we were looking for something artistic, but because we're looking for something nice, smooth, and clean, we're going to go ahead and continue buttercreaming. I was going to show you guys the other cake board effect, but I feel like if you're a beginner, this is actually a good place to start. So this is good, and then maybe next time, I'll show you guys the other thing with the cake board, with the third cake board. Alright, so now I'm just going to go and fill in all of these holes, cracks, and crevices that are happening here. Any uneven buttercream, which is obviously this entire side. So I'm going to go ahead and just add buttercream anywhere that fits the description that I just said. Are you reading comments?
I'm waiting for you to stop
sorry.
talking.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Go ahead. I know I just keep talking because I thought maybe there was nothing to read.
I hate smoothing cake, crying face, but nah, my buttercream.
Do you guys hear him reading? Do you guys hear him reading this? He's so mellow tone. No, like, oh, I hate frosting cakes, or no. He's just like, I hate scraping cakes. It's just no emotion, nothing.
Green Meadow, from my experience, 4 sticks and 1 pound of butter is not enough to completely fill and frost a 4-layer, 6-inch cake. It produces a semi-naked cake. Copped and ODY. Why don't you use the icing 786 from Wilton? The one that ices an even amount for you.
Are you trying to read it with some emotion?
And Trey YTP. 20 people need to like.
Oh, is that our Trey?
I think so.
Is that Trey Duke?
I don't know. It's a picture of something and it's dark. I think so, because Unique Duke is talking to him.
Alright, you see guys, I'm not smoothing anything. I'm just spraying buttercream wherever I feel like it's needed. The secret behind getting a nice smooth cake is patience, time. You just have to take your time and have some patience. That's literally it. You go too fast, if you rush it, it's all going to come crumbling down on you, and you don't want that, right? Okay, again, right hand stays stiff. My left hand is going to turn the turntable, and I did not just stick this in the cake. You see it's on an angle. The back is really touching it, okay? And an angle, and I'm going to scrape and scrape.
Cop and ODY, how many times do you go around with frosting?
It just depends. It just depends. There's a lot of factors that happen. Like currently, it's raining, so it's making the cake more softer. The apartment itself, there's moisture in the air, So it just really depends on several factors. Also, I could miss a spot and then have to go back again. This could take me it could take me 10 minutes from start to end, or it can take me 30 minutes from start to end. If I wasn't like talking to you guys, teaching you guys, and stopping and reading, I would be done with this already. Done and covered and on to more cakes. I would have done several cakes by now. But you can just take your time. I wouldn't even get stressed out about like how long it's taking you. Because when you do that, then you tend to want to rush. Especially when it comes to covering the cake in fondant. Everybody rushes when it comes to that part. You see, I've missed some spots up here, so I'm going to go back with the buttercream. What happened?
Somebody's telling me how to say the name, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
How did you pronounce their name?
Because I said ODY.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at you like, what?
You said OD, like Odyssey.
Oh.
Without the C.
Oh, I get it. Odie, like Odyssey, but it's Odie.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So again, just frosting. I can already tell I'm going to need more on this side. My buttercream, I made it a few days ago, so some of it's crystallized, so that's why I have like little holes in it. I'm sure on screen it looks really smooth, but there's little holes from the crystallized buttercream. But again, we're going to make it work. And scrape. You see now how the scraper, couldn't find my words. The scraper is getting closer and closer to the cake. That means it's becoming more and more even.
I don't know if it's just me, but I love this. It's a cake comedy show.
What's the funny part?
And Copt and Odie is getting sharper.
Oh, are you saying somebody's? Are you trying to say their name and then tell me what they're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Say like Christopher says, so I know it's somebody saying.
I did. I said Green Meadow. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say Green Meadow.
And then I said Cop Audi, and Green Meadow say la la lo. Lol.
La la la. Okay. How many people vote that he should read the comments all the time? All right. So you see, it's definitely getting smoother. You can see the cake board. We're not gonna worry about that though, because that means I'm gonna have to put on a whole other layer of frosting, and I ain't got the type of time for that. So we're just, because then my kids are gonna be up and they're gonna be hearing your faces, and I don't want that. But I'm gonna put some more frosting here, and then we're gonna smooth out this top. You can see kind of like there's like little holes here in the cake. I'm just gonna put some. And I can see around the edge a little bit, because I want to get a nice clean edge. You guys are going to see that I'm going to try to get a nice, straight, clean edge, as clean as I possibly can make it without using any tips or any tricks or anything like that. Because I know everybody wants to go out and buy like the best and the next cake tool, but I want to show you beginners that it can be done without all of that stuff. You don't need all of that. Because I don't like when people spend all their money on cake stuff. Especially unnecessary cake stuff. A good turntable, a spatula, a scraper, that's all you need. They don't even need to be name brand.
Okay, Green Meadow said, yeah, the cake is serious. Green Meadow again. What's even funnier is Jelena has no idea what's going on. Crying, smiley face, crying, smiley face. Copped Odie, Copped and Odie. Miss More Cake, you can make a crumb coat cup, just the top. And Odie again. LOL, aka me. I have too many cake pans.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means.
I can't, I'm unable to follow along in the conversation because I don't know what goes where. You're confusing me a little bit.
What's crumb coat cup?
This is a crumb coat cup.
Okay, I guess that's what she's
What was
talking
the
about.
question? What did she say though?
Say Miss More Cake, you make a crumb coat cup, just a tot.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's a thought. It is a thought. Trust me. Oh, I'm dropping crumbs. It is a thought. Definitely a thought. Don't worry. It's all in the brain, and one day, hopefully, the works. I have a design, an idea. Okay. How's it looking? You guys like how it looks? Okay. So now I'm going to get a new napkin and wipe off my offset spatula. The reason why I want to wipe off my offset spatula, oh, I just noticed something about the cake, is because whatever's on my spatula is about to get on my, or does it look fine? I don't know. To me, it looks like it's going out like that. Okay. So, a lot of people take their offset spatula and they either start from the front and push the buttercream back, excuse me, or they start from the back and push the buttercream away from them. Either way can be done. It's totally up to you. I personally like going from the front to the back because then I can see where the edge of the cake is. Whereas here, I kind of lose sight of where my edge of my cake is. So I'm going to go ahead and start here. And push back. Now, probably should have grabbed the other one. That's okay.
Bella Fit I am. Hello.
Hi.
It looks great. Thumbs up. Where did you purchase your cake scraper from?
I purchased my cake scraper from an Instagrammer who makes them. I don't know if she makes them anymore, but when this is over with, I'll link her stuff down below for y'all. Okay. And then you guys can hit her up. I'm not sure if she still does them. I haven't seen her do any new ones lately, but I'll definitely link her down below. Okay, so a little context of what I did is I did not take my offset spatula and lay it flat on my cake and pull back. It's in an angle. I'm gonna pull that to the side. You guys see how it's in an angle? Is that noticeable on screen? Can you tell?
A little bit.
Okay. So the spatula is in an angle. Okay. I don't know what angle. 45-degree angle? Sure. Let's say that. So I've done one side, and now I'm just going to move the cake over a little bit, and I'm going to pull back. In an angle, pull back. Now, the other thing is that if you're noticing, when I pull back, I'm not pulling back to the other side of the cake. I'm pulling back going a little bit past the center point of the cake, okay? And then what do? Repeat after me, class. Clean off your spatula in between each scrape, because what's on your spatula will go back on your cake, and we don't want that, right? So I'm going to turn it, do it again, and go back, right? Clean it off, wipe it down, repeat. Clean it off, wipe it down, repeat. Clean it off, wipe it down, repeat. This part that I'm doing right now, I guarantee you, y'all are going to go wipe, and then don't understand why there's buttercream all over the place, because you're forgetting to clean it off and wipe it down. Okay? And back, clean it off, wipe it down. Now for beginners, I know everybody's like, well, my cake isn't sharp, and my edges aren't sharp, and my buttercream's not smooth. It's not supposed to be. When you start off doing cakes, it's not supposed to be right away. It's going to be sloppy. It's not going to be perfect. You just have to work up to it, okay? So don't worry if it's not exactly what you want it to look like. Just keep working at it. Keep practicing, and you will get it there, okay? Now, my edges on this cake, it is not super smooth. Not super smooth. But it's okay. Because once I put that fondant on, y'all know you're going to know. It's going to look bomb. All right. I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to go stick this in the fridge and let it chill out. Ooh, it's heavy. You go stick it in the fridge. Alrighty. I'm going to clean up my area of all the things that I do not need. Don't need any of this. Okay. Don't need this. We're done with buttercream. I don't need this. Wash my hands. And if anybody has noticed also, this is my third paper towel. I had one at the beginning of this when we were crumb coating, a second one throughout the whole frosting, and if you can just get yourself a kitchen rag that can help you wipe down your surface area so you don't go through all of your paper towels, especially in this time when all of our paper products are just vanishing off the shelves.
The Green Meadow is asking, why do people say square-shaped cakes are harder to get sharp edges than the round ones?
I think people think or feel like square cakes are harder to get sharp edges or even just perfectly square because there's 4 sides, where when a round one, it's just one round side basically, right? You don't have to get dimensions correct, and the lines don't have to be perfect with a round cake because it's round. Whereas square cake, it has not only 4 sides, but then it has 4 corners on the bottom and 4 corners on the top, and then 4 corners on the side. Where's a box at? Where's a box when you need one? Here we go. So for a square cake, you have to not only get the flat side of your cake nice and smooth, but you have to get the corners, right, to look right. And then all of the corners have to look perfect, because if they don't, it starts to look like more of a geometric shape and less of a square. And I can understand why people think it's harder, but I promise you, one day when I do a full square video going live with you guys, you're going to see it's not that hard. It's actually very easy to do. You just have to, again, take your time, slow down. Don't rush it.
Oh, that makes sense. Have you made a square cake?
Who's asking that?
Green Meadow.
Yes, I've made square cakes before. I've had square cake classes. Last year I did my first square cake class. A lot of people were too afraid to take that class, so I only had one student. But yeah, I've made square cakes. Put this away, we don't need it.
Fatima Ramada. When I frost my cake, it is never clean.
When you frost your cake, it's never clean. What do you mean? Like you still have crumbs in it? Is that what you're saying? Because if you're saying that it's never clean where it still has crumbs in it, that's maybe because you need to make sure you do your crumb coat and stick the cake in the fridge after you've crumb coated it, so that way the crumb coat is nice and stiff and stuck onto the cake. If you're saying that it's not clean as in smooth, that may be because your buttercream isn't smooth enough, or that you're not taking the time to scrape it enough, like I just did. Hopefully that's one of those things that you meant.
Copped Audi. Do you add more frosting to the corners?
Of what? More frosting to the corners of what?
I guess that would be for the square.
You talking about a square cake? I do. So with a square cake, what I tend to do is when you frost each layer, before I put on the next layer of cake, I put more buttercream on the corners here, and that helps out to make sure that my cake stays leveled, because it tends to not when you do that. So that's just a little trick that I do. I know a lot of bakers do that. That's actually a trick other bakers, cake artists do. What other questions y'all have for me? Ask me now, because we're on intermission. Ooh, let me drink something. We're on intermission. I have to wait for this cake to come out. So ask me all the questions you want. I will talk more about my ebook. That's what I'll do. Have you purchased my ebook yet? You should. You can find the link on my Instagram. Get my ebook. It teaches you how to price your cakes confidently. You will take all of this information that I teach you and apply it to your own business, so that way you'll be able to make a profit. You'll be able to pay yourself. You'll be able to pay for your cake. You know, because I know a lot of you will, and I'm saying this very confidently because I know it, because I used to do it. I would take the money that the client gave me, I'd go buy my supplies with it, and whatever I had left over, I would go, oh great, I have 50 cents left over from the cake order. It's my 50 cents, you know? There was no, like, that's not how you profit in your business. So I teach you what part of profit you have to do and how you pay yourself and where all the money goes.
Copped and Audi, he says, your website says the book is in for pre-order. Is it available now?
My website says pre-order?
Yeah.
Hold on, give me my iPad. It should not be pre-order. It's fully priced right now. Pre-orders are over with. Let me double check. If you guys are commenting, I can't see your comment, so give me a second. You know what I keep thinking about as I've gone live with you guys? I keep going like this with my hair, keep touching my face with it, and then I go, oh my god, they say don't touch your face. But then I guess it's kind of okay because I'm in my home and it's not like I'm touching you guys and it's not cooties. So I'm sorry if that's freaking anybody out, but it just keeps going in my head every time I'm like move a hair out of my face. Just want to make sure I still don't have the word pre-order on it. So I want to make sure I go back and take care of that. Let's see. You guys hear that knocking? It's the neighbors. Sorry. Oh God, they're gonna knock for a while. There's like an old abuela that lives in there. She can't ever hear nobody knocking on the door. Okay, so if you go to my website, you guys will see it says, I don't know what this looks like. Hopefully it doesn't look too blurry. You'll see the first product that's there. It says how to price your cakes confidently. If you push on that, it's there. Just trying to read it just to make sure it doesn't say anything about pre-order, because we're currently on full purchase. Like if you purchase it today, you get it today. Oh, okay, I see where it says it. Ebook pre-order only. Okay, I see what you're saying. Thank you for that heads up. Going back in there and change that for y'all. Yeah, pre-orders are over with. It's fully priced. Oh my God. Can they open the door? Okay. There we go. Thank you for whoever said that it said it's for pre-order. I just took that off. Pre-orders was over with last week. Okay, perfect. Going back to see if I missed anything. Oh, comments are moving so fastly. What's happening? Okay. When I make frosting, it always tastes like butter, no matter how much powdered sugar I put or milk. Okay, so when I make my buttercream, I actually, I've made it before on the lives. You guys can go check that out. There's a live that I made black buttercream, and I done it, and I tell you about it. And I also have an old one that I did before. I use that same recipe in the old. It's not a live; it's an actual video that I did here on YouTube, that I posted here on YouTube. I actually still use that same recipe. I use shortening. I use a big tub of shortening from Walmart, and it used to have fried chicken on the front of it. I used to call it the fried chicken buttercream, but it no longer has fried chicken on the front of it, so it's just shortening. You want to make sure you don't get vegetable shortening. No. Ugh, no. Get shortening, and I use 1 tub of that. I use about 2 bags of powdered sugar, and I put in a stick of butter. Sometimes I'll put 2 sticks, but normally it's just 1 stick of butter. And then I put all the flavor in the world in it. Usually it's vanilla extract, almond, whatever flavor you want. But also what helps is if you use milk or creamer instead of water. That helps with texture, and that also helps with taste. Because I don't like a buttercream that tastes like butter, and I don't like a buttercream that tastes like shortening. So, yeah. I need that book.
It's not Odyssey.
What do you keep saying?
It's Odie, like the car, because apparently she just bought a car.
Oh. How do you know that?
It's the talking.
Oh,
just, you gotta.
Are you not reading the whole conversation? Because I want to know what they're saying in the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Is that why Green Meadow said I have no idea what's going on because you're missing?
But she's in the chat. How she don't know what's going on?
No, me.
Oh.
She was like, it's funny because Julie has no idea what's going on. When covering a cake with fondant, do you need a thin layer of frosting underneath or the same amount as if you are decorating a cake? You guys are going to see what it's going to look like. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, rolling out fondant. You guys are going to see how I cover my cake. I don't put a thin layer of frosting on a cake. I just cover it just the way that you guys just saw me how to cover the cake. That's what I do. And then after that, I don't put anything else. Like, then I just put the fondant. But I don't use thick fondant. My fondant is thin. La, 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 la. When I make frosting, it always tastes like, oh, I reread that one. Choose a short name. How to take my use short name. Are you going to put your ebook on YouTube? No. No. This is the things on YouTube are all free. The ebook, it's not free. I can't say I'm sorry it's not free. It's not free. It's an ebook that I wrote at 63 pages. You also are able to purchase the follow-along video if you'd like to, and that video is about an hour long, where I talk you through the ebook as well. But you are more than welcome to check that out. It's on my Instagram page. You hit that link at Jelena Simpson, and then hit the link on my Instagram, and it takes you straight to my ebook. Or you can just go to the website, and it's morecakeym.com. Or is that what you meant? Like, am I gonna just put the ebook here on YouTube for free for everybody? Hopefully, I'm trying to make sure I understand what you're saying. Still reading. Oh, can I link the book in the chat? Yes, I can. Let me type it. I can type your. Maybe that's what you meant. Can I put it here on YouTube, like in the chat room? .morecakeym.com. There's the link. I don't know if you can click on it though. Hopefully that's clickable. What do I do for chocolate buttercream? I make my I make my regular buttercream, and then I melt actual chocolate and then stir it in there. That's about it. How do you publish an ebook? I'm not sure. Would you guys say my ebook's published? It's not like a published book, right?
No, it's just
yeah, it's not a published book. It's just an online book. I haven't published it. Maybe one day. We'll see. Okay, so let me tell you guys what I have here. I have some fondant. This is Wilton fondant. This is one of the silver packs. So the whole box is 5 pounds. One of the silver packs is 2.5 pounds of fondant. So I have 2.5 pounds of fondant here. I pulled some off. Over here to the side. I'm going to grab my large rolling pin, which was on your tool list. Give it a nice little wipe down. He really said my name, Audie. Captain Audie. Oh!
That's what I said.
I get it!
She got a car.
I didn't. I was like, what do you mean you got a car? And I'm looking at her name. I'm like, what does that even mean? You Captain Audie. I get it. I understand now. I'm hip with the game. I'm down with the lingo. I was confused when you said she got a car. I'm like, how the hell do you know that? Because it literally says she Captain Audie. We got us to purchase your ebook. Okay, so I just put the link up there. Who's that? April? I think that says AA April Star. I just put the link there so you can click on the link, and then that link will take you to my website, and you'll see where you can purchase the ebook from. My pleasure. Thank you. Oh, you use melted chocolate for chocolate buttercream? Yes, I do. Does it? Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, definitely. It has a strong chocolate flavor. I don't put like coffee in it or anything like that. That's usually I do that if it's like a custom flavor. But I just use melted chocolate. Just get a good brand melted chocolate, and I would just stir it in there. That's all. How do you make buttercream with no eggs? What do you mean? Butter? There is no butter. I don't make buttercream with eggs, Trey. There's no eggs involved in my buttercream. That's Trey. That's my godson. Everybody say, hey, godson. All right, so I'm kneading my fondant. If you're new and you don't know how to knead your fondant, all it means is just kind of massaging like dough or massaging your fondant. And I push down and then I push in with my wrist area here. So push down and then push in, and then I rotate with my other hand, push down, push in, and then I just move really fast. It takes a while to kind of pick that up and learn it this way, but there's no wrong way on how to knead your fondant. And what I'm doing is just incorporating it all together, making it nice and smooth, getting it into a nice little round shape. And then I'm going to work on getting it into a square shape. Oh, I got to take off my ring. Okay, and I'm just flattening it down, getting it to where it has four corners, not four corners, but four sides, kind of like a square, because now we're going to panel our cake, okay? So I'm going to roll out the fondant for the sides of my cake, but that's going to go on second. I'm just going to roll that out because it's the bigger piece, and then we're going to roll out the piece for the top. Okay. So now if you're new at this, okay, you want to take your time. You want to start in the middle, all right? And don't ever go over the edge of your fondant. So you start in the middle and you push out. You see there's still fondant right there? I'm going to stop. Start in the middle, push towards myself, and I'm going to stop. I never go over the edge of my fondant. If I did that, then what happens is my fondant will go flat down and there won't be evenness happening, okay? You want to know why? Because now I have to take my fondant and turn it this way, long ways. And look, now I will go over the edges of the fondant. We do the same thing. Start in the middle, push out, stop. Start in the middle, push out, or push toward yourself, sorry. And you see now those edges are flattened and nice and even, and we're going to continue that. In the middle, out. Middle, toward yourself. Don't be afraid to pick up your fondant, rotate it. Middle, out, middle, toward yourself. All I want to do at this point is get her really nice and long. That's what she said. But get it long, and then also I want to make sure I get the height correct too. So it was a double barrel. Here's a little trick. Get a little measuring tape. This was not on your tool list, but you can use a ruler if it helps. Get a measuring tape. You're going to go upside your cake, and then you're going to measure the height of your cake. Mine was 2 layers, 4 layers of 2 inches, 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's about 8, and then there's some buttercream, so that's probably about 9.5 inches in height. And then round, I'm going to guesstimate, but what you do is you take your, what is it called? Your measuring tape again, and you go around your actual cake, right? You're going to go around your actual cake, and we're just pretending our fondant is our cake. You're going to go around the actual cake and see what the measurement is. So for this fondant piece right now, it's 36 pieces, 36 inches. So you want to make sure you roll out this much fondant to cover the entire surface area. Out.
Captain said, would you do any more free cake class in your future?
Yes, I will. I definitely will.
Tara Smith, I've seen people warm the fondant first in the microwave and then knead. Is that necessary?
It just depends on the temperature of your location. Like some people even put powdered sugar or cornstarch down on their surface. I don't use any of that stuff. To me, that's extra ingredients I don't need. It helps if the air is dry, and it helps if your hands are not moist. If I put this in the microwave, it's going to make it even more moist and harder for me to not get it to stick to my surface or stick to my hands or stick to my rolling pin. So Wilton fondant to me is always ready right out the box. I know some people use different type of fondant that hardens after a while, so they put it in the microwave to soften it up. That's the only reason I would put fondant in the microwave. If it was really hard and I wanted to reuse it and soften it up.
Green Meadow asks, if you ever had it, does red velvet taste good with chocolate cream cheese frosting?
I don't eat cream cheese frosting, so I can't answer that question. I've never had red velvet cake in my life because I don't eat cream cheese frosting. But I don't think it would be a bad thing, actually. I think chocolate cream cheese frosting with red velvet, I mean, red velvet doesn't matter because At the end of the day, it just kind of tastes a mix of vanilla and chocolate together anyways. But the cream cheese chocolate frosting, that could be a thing. That sounds pretty good.
Tara Smith says, great, thanks, smiley face.
You're welcome. Alright, so what you're looking at is, I'm going to have to pull the camera back a little bit, but what you're looking at is, this is the height of the cake. This is the part that's going to go around the whole cake, right? This part here, that's why it's so long. I'm going to pull the camera back so you can see more of the table. You're fine. You didn't have to move. Where are you going? Okay. Can you see the table? Is it even on your screen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okie dokie. Now you see how I'm handling my fondant? But I'm not holding it in my hand for too long. So I'm going to take a piece of fondant here. Say it's flat piece, right? I'm not holding it like this because that's going to make these little dents in it. I'm not doing that. I'm literally grabbing it by the palms of my hand to move it around. This top part is dry. The bottom part is always moist, right? Just kind of like your pillow. If you flip it over, the bottom part of your pillow is more colder. Same thing. So I like to rotate my fondant just so I can give it even enough temperature. So now this part is the moist part and the bottom part is dry part. And I want to even this out to make sure that all of my lines are together. I'm rolling thin here. I don't like rolling a thick piece of fondant. Now, every time I move my fondant, I'm putting my hand over it, and that's not because I'm trying to smooth the pieces down. It's because I'm trying to feel where it's thick at and where it's thin at, right? On this side, it's a little more thicker. I can feel it. On this side here, I can feel I'm closer to the table, and it's thinner. You get the hang of it the more you do it. You start realizing what's more shallow and what's more deeper when it comes to your fondant thickness. Alrighty, let's see. You know, I just realized I don't even have a blade with me. Alright, so we're at 20. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I don't think that's enough if it's not enough. My height is good. I check my height all the way down. Cool. Now I'm going to move this over and then I'm going to go ahead and roll out a piece for my top. Doing the same thing. If I'm missing anybody commenting, I apologize. He stepped away for a second. So I'll wait till he comes back so he can read it. Okay. Just flattening a piece of fondant. Just round it off. This is going to be the shape that I need it to roll out in, which is round. It doesn't ever stay round. Sorry, he's blowing his nose. I hope you guys can't hear that. But it doesn't ever stay round. It turns into always like a weird shape. So hopefully I can keep it to stay round just by rotating over and over again. he's blowing his nose. Hopefully you can't hear that. Did I miss any comments?
I'm reading.
Make sure it's at least 6 inches. It is. I have some not fondant. I have some buttercream, so I need to make it a little more wider.
Crispy B31. Do you use high ratio shortening?
Yes.
For your buttercream?
Yes. I'll show you guys the one that I use. Can you grab one of those containers out from under there, that shortening, the blue container? So you guys can see that this is kind of paper thin. It's really thin here. Let me move, I want to move this out the way because I'm going to bring the cake out and I need all the space I can get. Yeah, no, not that one. It doesn't say, this one says all vegetable. Get the one that just says all shortening. Or just shortening. Okay, I'm hot. I gotta put my hair up. I'm getting hot. Is that the one? Yes. So this is the one from Walmart. It just says shortening here. So this is a really high ratio shortening, fat shortening. So you want to get this one. Make sure it doesn't say vegetable shortening. You don't want to do that. This is 42 ounces or 2 pounds. It is very soft to use. This is one batch for me. This with 2 bags of powdered sugar. Can you grab me a powdered sugar? It should be at the bottom all the way in the back. Yeah, excuse me. That. I use 2 bags of powdered sugar. Again, Walmart brand. This is 32 ounces. So, well, I use about a bag and a third of the other one, but sometimes it gets about 2 bags. So, 2 bags. This. I use some milk or some creamer. I put a stick of butter in it. 1 stick of butter. Vanilla extract, a pinch of salt if you want it. Sometimes I don't put a pinch of salt because sometimes I forget. But yeah, this is all I use for my buttercream. Thank you. Appreciate you. Can you pull the cake out too since you're over there when you come back? All right, I'm gonna pull my hair up because I'm getting hot. This hat isn't helping. Thank you. Great, because my hair was scratching my face. I didn't want to keep touching my face and keep like moving my hair. It was bothering me. Okay, so here's my cake. I don't like putting it on the turntable because then it moves too much. I don't like messing with that. So we're just going to go ahead and take this piece and put, oh, and that's the other thing. See, I'm touching my cake, no frosting. You can kind of hear the tap a little bit. Well, I hear the tap because that's how hard it became. So I'll put it on. And this was just in the fridge. I didn't put it in the freezer. Just putting it in the freezer would have added too much moisture. Sometimes I do put it in the freezer. It just really depends. Like right now, because I have a short period of time, I kept it in the fridge. So I needed to make sure it was nice and dry. If I had a longer time, I would have left it in the freezer, let it sit in there for a while. Overnight if I needed to. So I'm just smoothing this out. Because remember, I told you guys the top of my cake was not all type of smooth. It was not smooth whatsoever. So I'm just smoothing it out. What are you eating? He's eating a donut. He's supposed to be here reading comments. Can you come read some comments?
I see it on the screen. It's not moving. Nobody talking.
Nobody talking? I've been on conference calls, but I wanted to check this out. People are talking.
Okay.
I don't think we can invite him back to read the next comments. All I'm doing is trying to smooth it out. 1, you want to get air bubbles out of it. Using your hand is best for that. But 2, just trying to smooth my buttercream. the knife sharpener? Thank you. So I have my X-Acto blade here and what you use to sharpen your knife. When you feel like your X-Acto knife is becoming dull, just use your knife sharpener. It does the same exact thing. Right? Clean it off. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and stick this back in the fridge again. Yes, I know. But we're gonna stick it back in the fridge because we want the fondant here to get nice and stiff so it'll be easier to cut. Can you stick this back in the fridge, please? Thank you. You're so much helpful. You're so much helpful. That's not a proper sentence. All right, let's see. Let's see what I've missed because, you know, Mr. Man just... I can't wait for all this to be over. I'm used to isolation. Being alone is the thing I'm good at, but now everyone around me involves the panic and the voices, the anxiety pouring from their eyes. Oh my God. I completely agree with you. I hope they never go through it again. Everyone's scared to touch each other. You move another one's cart aside, you get yelled at. Yeah, that's true. Oh, maybe you're commenting because I said I was scared to touch my face in front of you guys. The world I lived in was full of uproar. Now it's just panic and mayhem. Let it all be over with. I know. When I went to the store this morning, I had to get eggs so I could bake the cakes, and everybody seemed like they were in panic. And that, I mean, we have enough. We have water. We have everything we need here. I lived in Florida for 20 years, so it's when I feel panic arise, just because I've been through Hurricane Andrew and Hurricane Katrina, and I'm used to being in a boarded up house and sitting there waiting for like a storm to pass. I'm kind of used to that. Everybody panicking and going for water and going for toilet paper. So I was preparing for this way before, back in December, because I kind of foresaw this happen, and that's probably why a lot of Floridians right now are on TV, because they're kind of like, we've been through so many storms. There's no excuse. They're a bunch of morons. But yeah, hopefully everybody will kind of, calm down a little bit and know that just as long as you stay prepared, yes, take it seriously, but also you don't have to freak out. Not yet anyways. So that's my poem from Corona. Good poem. Hello from NYC. Hi, New York. How are you guys holding up? I know you guys are on actual lockdown. How is it? How are you guys doing? Oh, Ken, I need the charger. Thanks, Trace. Oh, you're talking about, okay. Cakin through Corona. Oh, you see the Cakin through Corona? Isn't that cute? I forgot the girl's name. Yeah, I asked everybody what I should put there, and someone suggested that. I'm scrolling back up so I can make sure I get her name correct. Do you remember the name of the girl? Oh, Chandra Patty Cakes. That's who suggested that. I put that on the board. I'm catching up. Oh, Kendrick, there's so many comments here. How are you? Jesus, like, there's so many comments.
I was reading.
Hopefully I answered. Oh, I saw somebody say for buttercream shortening, how much do I use? I use the whole barrel. That whole barrel is one batch for me. The one that I brought out. That's one batch for me. Rosita, in the fridge, what a out M. Oh, what about condensation? Okay. I was like, what? A out M. So that's the thing. So when you put a cake in the freezer, your cake will freeze. Okay? When you pull it out, you'll get condensation. It'll become moist. Your cake will start to frosting, and it'll be wet. But if you put your cake in the fridge will dry it out. So that's the difference. Excuse me. The fridge will dry it out. So I like to put my cakes in the fridge when I want my fondant to get stiff but stay dry. If I want my cake to last longer, so say I do my cake maybe 2 or 3 days in advance of the actual order, I'll put it in the freezer. And it'll become frozen, but that way it can stay more fresh. And when I take it out, I'll do whatever I need to do with it, but I'll stick it in the fridge to dry all that condensation out. So the fridge will actually not have that condensation. And if you do have condensation on your cakes when you take them out of the fridge, you may need to get it calibrated because you shouldn't. That means that your food is staying moist, and that means that more mold can build up on your food. So your fridge should not be no wet, moist. I'm not pronouncing the sentence correctly, but your fridge should not apply any condensation to your cakes. That's not how it should be for a fridge. Just like when you take out a cold drink out of your fridge, it's not wet. It's wet when you take it out of the freezer, but not the fridge. Look at my godson, y'all. I just want y'all to know my godson Trey. He's out there rooting for me, telling y'all to like. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subbing, and make sure you're hitting the notification bell. Thank you, Trey. I love you. I love you so much. Mwah. La 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 la. Which type of buttercream do you use? Trey, what are you talking about? What type of buttercream do I use? I use the shortening to make the buttercream, and I use unsalted butter. I don't use salted butter also to add to it. NYC stores empty and people panicking, but they still outside, so all we can do is stay prayed up, and thank you for teaching us. My pleasure. Yes, definitely stay prayed up. I can understand why people are still walking around. I saw footage of some people walking around, but basically I know the streets are a little bit empty. I mean, we're still walking around. We self-quarantine ourselves. My man's a police officer, so he actually has to go to work, but it's mandatory for him to be out there right now. But we do walk around outside, like, of our front area here and try to get some fresh air so we can. Remember back at 1 o'clock when I said at 2 o'clock when I said I was gonna make this like an hour and a half situation? Remember when that happened? It's now 4 o'clock. Hey Chicago. Oh, Green Meadow, you're in Chicago. Oh, you guys are on lockdown. Yeah. People are going nuts. Yeah, I know. Yes, you can definitely. You can definitely refrigerate a fondant cake. You can even put a fondant cake in the freezer. The thing is that just be aware that when you take it out, it's going to that's when the condensation will happen from the freezer. But you have to just be prepared for when your cake, so say it's in the freezer and you're ready to deliver it. So let's start from scratch. Erase everything I just said. So say today I'm doing an order that's due in 3 days, right? After I'm done with these cakes, I'm going to stick it in the freezer because I want my cakes to stay moist. If they sit in the fridge for too long, they will dry out, okay? And I don't want that. Usually when they're covered with fondant and buttercream, layers of buttercream, they won't dry out that like immediately. But I want them to stay moist as long as possible. So I'll stick it in the freezer. And so like the day before the actual order is due, I'll take it out and put it in the fridge. So that way my fondant will then dry out and my cake will become nice and stiff. It will no longer be frozen because it will defrost, but it will still, again, get dried out as far as the fondant goes. Your cake will stay moist because you have layers of buttercream. I hope that makes sense, the way I said that. I was trying to say slow. Jelena, is Norcross on lockdown yet? No, Norcross isn't on lockdown. Ken, Unique said something about the cab. Unique, I saw something pop up that you said something about the crab. Okay, Pastor Trey. All the schools are shut down. I have to use Meet to do school. Yeah, my godson has to do school online. So they do video chatting online, is what he means. That's his mama. Unique Duke is his mama. So. Alright. So you see how long my fondant's been sitting here? I know a lot of people would cover their fondant up. It's only because I've been working with fondant for so long, especially Wilton fondant. I know what's going to get it dried out completely, and I know what it's not. My surface is still moist on the other side, so we're good. It's still pliable, it's still bendable. It's not going to crack or anything like that. All right, Ken, I'm all caught up in the questions and comments, so keep me caught up. I'm going to go check on our cake to see if the top of the fondant is nice and stiff. need another 5 minutes in there, but I'm just going to go ahead and grab onto it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my X-Acto blade and I'm going to cut off the top of my fondant. Just going to dig down. Now, the stiffer your fondant is, the better.
Do you make your cake homemade? I tuned in late.
Do I make my cake homemade what?
I tuned in late.
Oh, no, this cake is not from scratch. This cake is a box mix cake. Betty Crocker. Okay, I'm just cutting off the fondant off the top, and I'm getting as close to the cake as I possibly can. Oh yeah, I definitely could have used another 5 minutes in there. I made the cake in my home. It's homemade. You're absolutely right. And this part sometimes is nerve-wracking for everybody because they tend to want to like go like this, chainsaw or seesaw it back and forth. You don't want to do that. You just want to push your X-Acto blade in and then keep pushing and just go along the cake. Whatever you do, don't do this because we want to keep it nice and smooth. Make sure you keep your blade up and down.
Green Meadow said she hasn't left her house in 6 years.
You haven't left the house in 6 years. Okay. Move all this out of my way. Alrighty, so I'm going to cut a straight edge here. Okay, where's my rolling pin? Alrighty, so this is what I'm going to do. If you can see this side of the screen, I hope you can, I'm going to roll up my fondant around my rolling pin, but I want to make sure the bottom of my fondant will be touching the bottom of my rolling pin. Losing my train of thought. Also going to go ahead and take a ruler and just cut a nice little straight piece down on the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's better if it's perfect, but I'm not going to stress it. You see how casual I am about this? I'm just real casual about it because it's just cake. There's ways that we can revamp it and figure it out and make it better. I'll teach you how to make a flower to hide the hole, all of those things. It's just cake, okay? You work towards things getting better. I've been doing this for 14 years. Sometimes my cakes don't even look that great. But you'll never know it because I hide it with like a flower or something. Okay, so I'm just rolling my rolling pin, making sure that my bottom half all meets up. I'm not doing it tight. I don't want it tight. And remember, this may not match all the way around because I never actually measured the cake, but I will show you a trick if it doesn't match all the way around how to do it. So now I'm going to just take my fondant and roll it around the cake. I make that look easy, don't I? Don't I? Y'all don't understand the struggle that sometimes I be going through, especially when I'm live. The struggle I be going through sometimes. All right, using my hands, I'm feeling if there's any air bubbles happening or anything. I can already feel that my fondant isn't touching the bottom, but that's okay. We're gonna figure that out. Okay. You're gonna use your cake smoother, and I'm just gonna slowly push down, just so I can get my fondant to touch the board. Oh, child, you can totally see that brown cake board in the middle of my cake. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? You can see it right there. That's because I didn't take the time to put another layer of buttercream. But you guys heard me say that earlier. All right, if you feel air bubbles, you want to push them up. Push them up so they can come out. Any comments, Karen? Are you, is there nothing happening?
Patty Cake said, wow, that looked easy. And Green Meadow said, the sun came out and the snow is melting.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, can you use instead of a fondant smoother? I think she missed a word.
Can I use what instead of a fondant smoother? Your hands? I would say you want to get a fondant smoother because your hands have bumps and wrinkles, and it's not always going to. Why are you laughing? Why is that funny? And it's not always going to be smooth with your hands. What I'm going to do is grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut off all of these pieces that are hanging over because I don't. Now you got too much hanging over that can damage the top of your cake, and I don't want that. I'm just trying to make sure I get all, like I got an air bubble right here. There we go. Okay. Now the back of it, because this is white or white, and I'm seeing on the camera, it's really hard to tell. But you see, I just missed it. I just missed it, but like that much, right? But again, I'm going to show you guys a trick on what I do. Okay. Pull this down. I'm just going to smooth all this out. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in. We're going to stick this back in the fridge. Just making sure that my top is touching. Alright, I'm going to stick this back in the fridge. See, the fridge and the freezer are going to be your best friends in this. I'm going to stick this back in the fridge. I want this fondant to get stiff so that way I can cut it nice and sharp.
Green Meadow says, how are you getting rid of the air bubbles using only your hands?
So what you do is, when you feel the air bubble, all I'm doing is pushing the air bubbles up to the top. And then I'll take the fondant and kind of pull it away from the cake a little bit so the air bubble can come out. That's what I'm doing. I know some people will like jab into their cake to get that air bubble out. I don't really like to do that because sometimes you can jab too hard and buttercream will come out. I really try my hardest to stay away from that. And the only time I really like to jab into my cake is when my cake and the fondant are super stiff, and then I can jab into it. Right now the cake isn't super stiff, it's getting warmer in here. The longer the cake sits out, it's becoming softer. So I'm going to wait to jab into it if I have to. But yeah, you just use your hand and you just smooth it out towards an area where the bubble can release into the open air. Which for me, it was the top of the cake. And now I'm going to go ahead and roll out a piece of fondant that's going to cover the back part. Because remember I said that the fondant wasn't going to cover the whole cake, but I'm going to show you a way that you can take care of that. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out a piece of fondant. So you see, I didn't even use all that much fondant to cover the cake. Whereas if you colored, where's the bag? If you colored this whole bag of fondant, like say you colored it purple, this is how much purple you would have left over, right? And you don't even need all that much when you panel. That's why I like paneling, because you don't have to color all the fondant. Any more questions? Questions, comments, concerns?
That's amazing. I would go crazy if I didn't see the snow at least once a year.
Oh, let's talk about the snow.
These spices said, took a break from my thesis, rather watch a cake lesson. Smiley face, smiley face.
What's your thesis on? What are you going to school for? I hope this is helping you guys and kind of entertaining you a little bit. You're getting some knowledge. You're getting to confer with other cake artists. Hopefully you guys are exchanging information, becoming cake buddies. We're making friendship matches here, man. So all I did was just roll out a piece of fondant. Make sure I have the length and the width to cover that area, then the space that's not being covered. We're going to leave that piece of fondant in there for a little bit. I mean, that cake in there for a little bit. Because I really need that cake to get nice and stiff. Let me make sure I push it all the way to the back. Yeah. Push it all the way to the back. Perfect. What are we talking about? What's the 401? It is helping. I can't wait to try it again. Have to send you a picture of the last disaster. Yeah, if you guys do this and you frost some cakes this week and you cover your cakes this week and stuff like that, please send me pictures. I'd love to tag you in the photos and repost them so I can show people that, hey, come and learn new skill here, right? And don't worry if the cake doesn't come out the way you want it to be. Failure is not in the actual failing. Failure is in the actual not trying. So all that matters is that you tried. Okay? I was going to grab something. I don't remember what I was going to grab. I don't need this. I know what I was going to grab. This extra fondant away. The way I store my fondant is I make sure I knead it so that way it's nice and soft, and then I put it in a plastic bag. This is just a mixture of different, like white fondant, and then I have a yellow fondant. I just use it to make my YouTube cakes, but then you want to take all the air out of it so that way it doesn't dry out too fast. It also helps you can plastic wrap them. That helps too.
I have a thesis on healthcare, human resource administration. It's on anatomy.
Okay. Shout out to all the healthcare workers, first responder workers, people who are looking to be in healthcare. What is happening over in the neighbor's house? Let's see. What else is going on? I don't think I have anything else going on besides coronavirus is happening in the world. I wrote an ebook. My cake brothers and sisters are bored out of their mind. I know a lot of you are at home right now because your 9 to 5 job closed, which I know you guys feel like it sucks, but also is a blessing because you're able to stay at home. I know a lot of people aren't. Again, like I said, my man is a police officer. I know there's a bunch of nurses and doctors out there who have to go to work, which is kind of hard and kind of scary. Like I just had a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I was surprised that they kept the doctor's appointment, and they were saying that they didn't want to close their facility because a lot of their patients are older patients and elderly patients, and if they close, then these patients, if they get sick or if something happens to their current situation, then they have no one to turn to. So they wanted to stay open. So I thought that was really cool. Oh, I have vlogs. Thank you, best friend. I have vlogs coming out. I have a second channel, y'all. I'll post that second. You can just write in Jelena Simpson on YouTube, and you'll see the second channel pop up. But there's nothing posted on it right now. There's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to put that out in the universe tomorrow. I have videos coming out on my second channel, and that's just going to be like more of the behind the scenes of what's going on, my actual life, not my cake life. Not to mention, I do so much other things rather than cake. I draw, I paint, I build stuff, so much other stuff. I'm a mom, I'm a significant other to somebody. So there's like that life. So maybe you guys will see that. So yeah. You know what I feel like? I feel like Officer Ken is just watching me and not the comments.
I'm watching, but you're reading it yourself.
I know, because you're not. I became a homeschool teacher. I think all of us mothers reconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll press it.
Okay, it's coming back. It's coming back. There it goes, yeah. See, we paused, and Officer Ken got up and pushed the button. I'm not giving him a chance to eat. Let me tell you how slow he got up to push the reconnect button as it was pausing. He was all like, oh, it's doing something. Oh, it's doing something. And I said, okay, well, come push the button. And he's like, okay. Like just walking slow.
Because the button wasn't even on the screen yet.
Like there's no pep in his step whatsoever. How much did I decide how much to put my ebook? That's a good question. I figured out the worth of myself, and I figured out the worth of the information I gave out, and then I put a price on it. That's literally all I did. You're back, your phone died? Don't worry, we just froze for like 2 seconds, so I don't think you really missed anything. Unless you missed me covering the cake and fondant. But the cake's just in the fridge chilling right now, and we're just waiting. This is real time, y'all. And you guys wanted to see, oh my god, it just started pouring, raining outside.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pouring, raining outside. That's probably why it froze. But yeah, this is real time. I mean, this is real slow time. This is taking me a long time to frost and cover this cake because I'm teaching it. But this is real time. I'm showing you guys in real time how to cover your cake, how to frost your cake, how long it takes for it to sit in the refrigerator. So that way you guys can see like, okay, this much minutes in the refrigerator, this long frosting, and maybe determine on how long it could take you to do it. But again, I wouldn't focus on time and trying to make sure you do it like, oh, in 10 minutes. Because if you're a beginner, you just need to take your time and slow down.
Are you reading yourself or you want me to read this?
I'm reading.
Oh, okay.
Mine's didn't work, but I will make it work. I'll post my finished product in the HBIC group. Okay, Bailey. I'm excited to see it. What do you mean mine didn't work? What do you mean mine? What didn't work? Mine's didn't work, but I'll make it work. What part didn't work for you, Bailey?
Maybe she had a book too.
No, Bailey?
Yeah.
No, Bailey's in my HBIC Facebook group. I have an HBIC Facebook group. There's that too. I have an HBIC Facebook group. Basically, that's a group that I mentioned it earlier, but that's a group where it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you've been in this for 15 years, if you've been in it for 5 minutes, or if you've been in it for 5 years, it doesn't matter. what level you're on in the cake world. But I have this Facebook group where I teach you about cake decorating and the artistry behind cake, and I also go point by point with you when it comes to business and how to price your cakes. This month we're focusing. This month and probably half of next month we'll be focusing on business plans. So I have all my girls in there writing business plans, and then I do one-on-one conferences with them, and we discuss their business plans, and we discuss their goals of their business, and I just try to point them in the right direction or give them some guidance and some help, some mentorship. But you guys can check that out also. You can go to that website that I put in there, www.morecakeym.com. I'll type it again, or can you type it again? Or Unique, can you type it again? Can somebody type it? And www.morecakeym.com, and you can find the Facebook group on that website too. So I guess I would say it's like a mentorship. I want to help someone who needs the help because there was no one there when I started out, and I don't like to do Facebook groups where it's a free for all because then it becomes too much drama, and that's not how we run this Facebook group. My girls are in the group and they help me run it, and they set the pace. That's basically how I run it. I see the level that everybody's at, and I let them set the pace. So I try not to go, okay guys, we're gonna do some like redonkulous shit, and I'm gonna show you guys how to sculpt this, whatever. The group set the pace and tell me where they are, so I know what I should teach them next. Why do you keep looking at it? Is it freezing?
The iPad is freezing, but the camera is still
recording. Oh, like, what is wrong with my hair? Is this what I look like? This is my first time actually looking at myself. You joined it, but you're still pending? What's your name on Facebook? When did you join? The Facebook page name is HBIC. Kendrick, did you write the website in here?
Yeah, it's in there.
Maybe my page isn't doing it. I don't see where you wrote it.
I put, my name is, you'd see a rooster.
Yeah. You wrote no pet.
No, you guys scroll down.
I did. Oh, maybe just my group chat hasn't updated yet. I wrote it again just in case, but I didn't see it. It kind of froze again. Did I miss the Facebook page? I keep sending the site but don't see it in the chat. Oh, see, Unique said it too. She kept sending the chat and she doesn't see it either. Am I frozen? You guys are saying I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
It's not frozen.
Yeah, I didn't see it freeze.
I think you spelled your website wrong.
I think I spelled my website wrong. Can I delete this comment? Yeah, let me remove that. Okay, let me write it again. www.morecakeym.com. Yeah. Thanks. You're welcome. Yeah, I don't know. Ken said he wrote it too and it didn't show up in here either. Sorry, I mean the content in your ebook. There's so much to learn. I'm confused by your question. Because I know you asked me how do you decide how much to put in your ebook? Oh, how much to put in your ebook. Did I reprice your ebook? How much did I decide what to put in my ebook? Well, it was a class I taught, and it's just the topics from that class that I put in the ebook. So that's pretty much it. And I wanted to make sure that it was an all-in-one, inclusive, easy-to-read material. And the feedback I've gotten so far is it's very easy to read, very easy to follow, very well put together, and that was my goal. And I wanted to make sure that it, also I use words that you can understand. I don't try to trick you. I really try not to bore you when you read the book because it's easy to be bored when it comes to math or when it comes to the business part of cake. Joining now. Awesome. To join the group, also, FYI, if you guys didn't read about what the group is, to join the Facebook group, it is a membership subscription policy. You come in to get information, and also the group gets exclusive information that the world, I don't put out to the rest of the world. Why does it sound like something fell in the fridge? Definitely sound like something fell. It wrote it for me. It wrote it for you? No, but I don't see it for you either, Green Meadow. Maybe when anybody else writes it, it only shows up on your stuff, but it's not showing up like in the main chat.
Maybe we can put links in there.
The membership is $24. I believe it's $24 for the membership. Again, you can go to my website, and my website you'll see the ebook if you're interested in the ebook, and then also you'll see the HBIC link for the Facebook group, and then when you click that, it'll give you all the information about what the group entails, and then I send you the link via email. But you can also look up the Facebook group on Facebook, and it'll pop up. It just won't allow you to automatically join them unless you go through that phase of joining through the membership. It's every month. Every month it's I feel like it's $23.99 or a flat $24. Every month it's $24. I just need to get this cake over, and then they can come out their bed. But they are in bed. I made sure I didn't put them down for a nap until 1:30, so they're really tired. Phones are called smart, but they're actually dumb. And just be stalking us. That's all phones are. That's true. That is true. Okay, let me go check on the cake. Let's go see if it's nice and chilled. I'll be right back. Okay. Let me hurry up and cut the top of this, and then I can fuss with everything else. So, should I cut the top now? No, I'm going to wait to cut the top. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a trick that I do. I'm going to grab a ruler. I got to hurry up because I don't want it to get warm in here. And I'm going to put the ruler up against my cake. So you guys can see the back of it. It's kind of crooked. Maybe I'm going to put you guys closer. I'm going to put you guys closer so you guys can see what I see. There we go. Can you see that good, Ben? All right, let me move you guys down. How's that? Okay. All righty. Okay. So you guys see how the fondant is all like crooked and messed up right here. So I'm going to show you guys, right, to make this a little more flushed. So I'm going to put my ruler move this over so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put my ruler up against it, and I'm going to cut straight down because I need to take this piece of fondant off. I need to work quickly because my buttercream is not nice and stiff, so that's not a good thing. We want to make sure our buttercream stays nice and stiff. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my fondant. I don't need it this tall. Too tall. My fondant, and I'm going to
My heavy-handed self would have cut through the cake.
You got to use the palms of your hands when you hold your fondant. The palms. Don't use your actual fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and align this piece of fondant with the piece that I cut. Okay.
Paneling technique. I will try again. I'm following along.
Good. Alrighty. So now, this piece of fondant that I added is overlapping that other piece of fondant under here. And now I'm just going to, you can kind of see that beveledness right there. That's the other piece of fondant. So I'm going to go over the other piece of fondant, you see, and the new piece of fondant, and I'm going to cut through both of them. You want to make sure you cut straight through both of them, using your ruler so you can keep it as straight as possible. I'm going to take that off. So my new piece of fondant's right here. My old piece of fondant is under it, right? I'm just going to peel back the new piece of fondant.
Goo. It's really nice for you to take your time to share with us.
Thank
really,
you.
Thanks.
No, thank you. I appreciate you joining in. And now I'm going to take the older piece of fondant and peel that away. Put that off to the side. And then place that new piece of fondant in replace of it. Just using my hands very carefully, matching it all up.
Naughty. I'll try this Wednesday when I'm free on my day off.
Awesome. Am I frozen?
No,
Oh, I'm buffering on my side.
it's working on it.
Okay. The other thing that I didn't mention, when you roll out that piece of fondant, the new piece, try to roll it out the same thickness. I rolled out mine a little bit thinner, so that's why you can kind of see the line so easy. But at least you have a nice straight seam. And if you can get this nice and chilled, you can rub it down even more. I'm just smoothing the rest of my cake. Now when you smooth your cake, you have to go in one direction. You can't be all over the place. You're either gonna go down or you're gonna go up. The purpose is that you gotta smooth in one direction, okay?
Chandra patty cake. Working with fondant scare me. You make it look so easy.
It is easy. It is easy. There's gonna be times you're gonna mess up, and that's okay. That is okay, girl. It is fine. It's just fondant. It's just fondant. Look, I had no plans. I didn't go, let me make sure I make this perfect. I was like, hey, this is live, and I'm probably gonna F this up like I normally do anyways. It is what it is. But you can always start over. That's the good thing about cake. It allows you to start over. It's not like you mess up and then that's it. That's the end of it. No. You can always start again. I'm taking my X-Acto blade and I'm cutting the extra fondant that's on the bottom away. But see, I don't have a lot of extra fondant. Because remember, I cut it straight at the bottom before I applied it. All my extra fondant's up here at the top that I'm now going to cut off. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick my blade in it. And making sure, again, I'm not seesawing. I'm trying to keep my hand nice and straight. I can't see anything. There it goes.
Green Meadow, I really want to make a fondant cake again, but I don't want to invest in the fondant smoother.
Why not? The fondant smoother is literally like $3.
Compton Naughty, did you cut both sides before you add the big strip? Erica Lee, smoother costs like $1. LOL.
Yeah, the smoothest is not that expensive. So don't be afraid. Or do you mean a scraper, a cake scraper? Either one, it's just a couple of bucks for it. Very inexpensive. Hold on, I gotta sharpen this. For me, there's no way that you're gonna cover a cake in fondant and it be smooth if you don't have a smoother. And there's no way you're gonna get your cake, your buttercream nice and smooth unless you have something to smooth it with. Again, I told you guys some alternatives. You can use a ruler, you can use a bench scraper. Okay, I'm cutting, literally I'm screwing up as I'm talking to you guys. I'm cutting straight into the cake. Because this blade is so dull. I feel like somebody else asked me a question. Did I miss somebody else?
Remember, you can use a ruler. Green Meadow. Well, really, it's also, I don't know where to get it from. The fondant smoother.
The fondant smoothie? Michael's Arts and
Scraper though.
Michael's Arts and Craft. You can get it from. Joann's Fabric, you can get a smoother from. Walmart. I have the worst blades here. These are so not sharp.
Shan has some. Craft store, Amazon, anywhere.
At Amazon.
Yuli G. I plan to make the cactus plus llama cake for Mama's birthday in July. I wish I had a daughter. That cake was so cute.
Aw, thanks.
Mine usually start to sweat. How do you prevent that?
Put it in the fridge. Put your cakes in the fridge, and it'll dry out the fondant and stiffen it up. I'm totally ruining the top of this cake because my blade is so not sharp.
Captain Audi. I have two LOL and I haven't used it yet. LOL.
You have two of what? The smoothers?
I think so. Green Meadow. Can you make a sheep cake?
Can I make a sheet cake?
Sheep.
Oh, a sheep cake. Ooh, that'll be cute. Yeah, I can do a sheep. Maybe that's something I could do for spring. Am I frozen?
Nice one.
Okay. Are you guys seeing how I'm butchering the top of this cake? It is so ugly. I hope I can fix it. Now you guys are witnessing a true screw up. This blade is beyond dull. And I honestly don't want to mess with it. I want to put it back in the fridge. It is so dull.
Can you use a box cutter to cut the fondant?
Yes, but I've never used a box cutter before. So I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Cup and Ollie. A box cutter isn't long enough.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, if you pull out all the blades, because I know some box cutters you're able to pull out all the blades, a lot of them, but yeah. Tell me how that works out for you. I've never used a box cutter before. It'll probably be best because then you have like extra blades behind it that are sharp. Alright, I'm sticking this back in the fridge, guys. I have to. I'm not even done. I have to because the top of this cake is just atrocious. Look at this. Look how scraggly this looks. The cake is so soft right now. Okay. Clean up my area. So this fondant has buttercream in it, but that's okay. We're just gonna knead all that back into the fondant. You don't throw this away. This is good fondant still. All that buttercream is shortening and powdered sugar, which is in every one of your buttercream, so it's fine.
Captain Audi. I'm inspired now.
You're yes! I'm glad. I hope you are inspired. I want to see some fabulous cakes come out of this.
Green Meadow. Okay. One last question. And I promise I'll stop being annoying.
You're not annoying. Ask all the questions you want.
But do you actually eat the fondant?
I do not. Where's my face?
Your face is not there.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get in there. I do not eat fondant. My kids love it though. I don't eat it. I don't eat no fondant. But my kids do like it. A lot of kids like it. Some adults like it too. It just depends on your preference. For me, I look crazy. For me, fondant is bland, but to some people it's really sweet. So I think it's just all about your taste buds. So I personally don't eat it.
Not even marshmallow fondant.
I have eaten marshmallow fondant before. It was tasty. It was better than just regular fondant. But you want to know what kind of cake I like? Let me show you what kind of cake I like.
Chandra patty cake. How long do you store saved unused fondant?
Hold on. This is the kind of cake I like, okay? I am such a basic biznatches. This is a Publix vanilla white cake. Publix can do no wrong when it comes to vanilla white cake, okay? Not chocolate. We don't mess with chocolate. Vanilla white cake right here. This is how basic I am. I don't need no fondant when I eat cake. I don't like decoration. I want this right here. This is what I want. I know I sound basic. I mean, I also do like a lot of pastries from the French bakery that I go to, and now there's a Spanish bakery that just opened up. I like their cake too, but I'm a basic girl. Vanilla, white on white. What was the question that you said? How long do I store unused fondant? Well, a lot of my videos, the cakes I do in the videos are just for tutorial purposes. But if it was for an actual cake order, and it's fondant that I'm using on the cake, I wouldn't use fondant past like a month that I've restored, only because it's been worked through. I don't like to do that too often, because then that starts messing around with the taste of it. And when you give something to a client, you want to make sure you have like the best taste. So I won't use fondant past a month. What's the matter? Oh. Biznatches. Miss more cakes. Invest in a sharpened knife. I know. I know. I normally have like several of them sitting here, sticking out. Like I have all of the holders. I don't know where any of the blades went. I know. You just put me out there like that. Well, I put myself out there, but I know. I need a sharper one. I'm like literally rummaging around looking for one, and I don't see one. Yeah, I gotta get more. What? And let me say this: I have several blades. Where are they in the house? I have no idea. Let's see if they're my little. This is my little to-go-to kit, a tool kit that I take on my deliveries. See, I normally have big giant blades like this. Let me see if I have another one. Oh, I got some blades. Let me use this giant blade. Let's see how that works out. Oh, see? It's another knife. Oh, there goes the blades. I said, where are the blades? I don't know. Here they are. We found them. Let's just change a blade. Because that thing is so dull. And if I have to sharpen it one more time. My kids love it. It's gross. I know it is. Fondant is just so disgusting, but you know, kids do like it. I don't know what their problem is. They got the weirdest taste buds. How do I ask my customer would they want ganache or buttercream for their fondant order? I think you should ask them just like that. Like, because I know not every customer does a. I'm sure you guys are just seeing half of my face right now. I know not every customer wants to do like a tasting, but you can just say we provide fondant and we also provide chocolate ganache. And sometimes if it's white chocolate, then obviously it doesn't taste like regular chocolate does. But you can explain to them the benefits of each one. So buttercream, they can have a traditional tasting cake, or chocolate ganache, which it allows your cake to be more sturdy, which I would only really offer if that's the flavor they're looking for, the flavor combination you want to give them, or if it's like a sculpted cake of some sort, or like a really tall cake. A really tall cake, ganache on your cake makes your cake even more smoother. But yeah, I would tell them the benefits of having chocolate ganache on your cake. It'll keep their cake more sturdy, or the flavor combination would be better, something like that. If the cake you're working on today was for a client, how do you box it or protect it for delivery? I use a regular box, like a shipping box. I have them right here. Oh, here's one. I have a whole video coming out for deliveries too, but I just have a regular box I got from Walmart. I don't invest in those white fancy boxes because one, my cake is way too tall. and two, the customer could care less. They don't give a crap. They don't ever see the box anyways because my cake is so big. I have to go take it out the box and set it up, so they don't ever even see the box. And what I do is I open up the box and I set it up and close it out with tape. Right? Close it out with tape, and then I keep the top of the box open. I hope you guys can see that. Can you guys see this? I keep the top of the box open, but I cut a door in the box. So I'll cut this part open, and that way you can open. It should open that way. You can open it, and you can slide your cake in, and then you'll be able to slide your cake out also. And if your cake is shorter, then you can close the top. But because my cakes are tall, I tend to leave it open or just have a really taller box, and then I can close the top. So just make a door out of your box, and then that way you're able to. There's the shelf liner at the bottom of the box, so that way the cake doesn't shift around. What other questions am I missing? Kids love sugar. They sure do. I never use gum paste. Never. I used it one time and I'll never use it again. And it was a Wilton gum paste. And I just don't like gum paste, period. Me personally, I don't like gum paste because it hardens too fast. So any toppers I ever make, I use fondant and I use Tylose powder. How tall is tall? My cakes are normally, they start off at 4 layers high. That's the minimum. But they have been 8 inches high, not 8 inches, 8 layers high before also. So what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 inches. So really that's 18 inches when you include the buttercream and the fondant, about 18, 19 inches tall. Yeah. Yep, no reason to invest in something that's just going to be thrown out. Exactly. I keep all my cardboard boxes that I get things in for my cakes. I tend to keep my cardboard boxes like the Amazon packaging or whatever. I usually keep those boxes. Usually they're smaller boxes. I keep them for any like toppers that I need to transport to a delivery. Yeah, I don't spray paint them because I don't like the fumes of the spray paint. But I'll sometimes just stick like a business card on the front of it. But I won't even go that far because then that's a waste of money on my business card because then somebody will just throw the box away and throw away my business card. So I don't even do that anymore. If I ever had like a storefront, that's when I would invest in like pretty looking packaging. But because it's, not that deep when I do make an occasional delivery. Like that big Lego cake you guys saw, I didn't even use a box for those because I didn't have like a big car at the time to deliver all the cakes, and all the big boxes wouldn't fit at once. So they were just all sitting out on bigger cake boards so I can transport them. We are almost done, y'all. I appreciate everybody who started with me at 2 o'clock and who is still here at 5 o'clock. I appreciate you dearly, and for anybody who's coming back to watch the replay, I appreciate you too. Cheryl. A fault line fondant cake? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I've never done a fault line fondant cake. I've done a fault line buttercream cake. But I very much think it's possible. Yeah, I've seen some fault line fondant cakes. They weren't titled fault line, but they were pretty much a fault line cake. But yeah, that's definitely possible. I wouldn't know how to explain how to do it though. Only because I would have to like actually physically be doing it so I can see what I'm working with. I'm loving that you guys are asking me all these questions. I'm trying to keep that cake in there as long as possible so that way when I cut, it's a little more straighter than what it was looking like. It was looking all scraggly. One more minute. I'll wait one more minute and then I'll pull it out the fridge. I haven't gone live in a while. I can't remember the last time I went live. But this has been fun. Our Apple Watch is worth buying. Yes. I enjoy my Apple Watch very much. So it gives me all the information I possibly could need. Erica says yes. All right, let me go grab this cake. Okay. Moving as fast as I possibly can. Let's get this top cut off. A little bit better than what I have it here. We're just gonna make the cake soft again. So let's just keep it moving. Now that I have a sharper blade, it's looking a bit better. Can you guys see? Ooh. I'm about to ruin that.
Chandra Patty Cake. This is awesome. Thanks so much. Share the screenshot of your board, my Cakin Thru Corona, to your IG account.
I definitely will.
Compton Audi. I'm thinking about getting one for my business. Might be smart because I'm not touching my phone or anything.
Yeah, that might be smart. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm constantly touching my phone anyways when if I do a cake order, if I'm just doing a cake, only because I tend to look at reference photos, or like I'll have my iPad and I tend to look at reference photos. So that's kind of hard to do. My cake is looking a mess. You see, guys, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the game. Cake screw-ups are possible no matter what. See, now I'm legit focused. I'm trying to salvage as much of this as I possibly can.
Compton Audi. Do you prefer Wilton silver pen or dark pen? Also, do you use cake goop?
I do not use cake goop. I just put parchment paper at the bottom of the pan, and I use this Wilton silver pans because the darker pans burn the cake faster. I don't know. Is that just me? Because I feel like the darker pans burn the cake faster.
Erica Lee. Just leave it like Meghan Markle cake. LOL.
Oh. Oh, I thought Meghan Markle's cake was pretty.
Ronald Gutierrez.
That's so shady. I thought her cake was pretty.
What?
It was very simple, but I thought it was pretty for what it was.
Wonder Guitars. Is that a plastic cake board?
This? Yeah, it's what is this? What plastic? What kind of plastic is this called? I can't remember the name of the plastic, but yeah, it's by Wilton. Wilton sells these. They sell like a pack of 4 or 3, and they're 10 inches. I haven't seen smaller.
Continental. You should make Corona then cake like people running away from the virus.
A Corona cake, theme cake. You know what cakes I'm into? I like how people are making like toilet paper rolls or like little.
It's working.
Okay. I'm here. I'm just moving the here. So I won't feel so self-conscious. You guys can see the cake from this angle, and now it looks so much more sharper. Don't look at the top of my cake. Just look at from the side view. It looks much better. But, okay, so what you guys, that's the back. Now let's talk about all the things that's wrong with it. One, you can see this cake board. This cake board right in the middle. So yeah, that's there. But I would don't do anything different from what I did, but just add another layer of buttercream, so that way you can hide that. I scraped it so hard, I scraped it down to the board, and then I got too lazy to add the extra buttercream. So just add another layer of buttercream.
Is that corrugated plastic?
Corrugated. There we go. Corrugated. Thank you, Erica. That's the word. Excuse me. And then also make sure you measure the circumference of your cake. So what I was telling you guys earlier when I was rolling out the fondant, you would go to your cake and then you'll measure around it with the measuring tape. And so, yeah, see, remember I told you guys it was going to be about 23? This is about 21 inches, and I always like to go an extra inch, so 22. So you would need it to have rolled out at least 22 inches of fondant to cover the whole thing. And then that way, we wouldn't have these two seams right here, but either way, we have the two seams. It's cool. It could always be smoothed out. And then the third issue is from the angle when you guys were looking at the top, that was looking a little scraggly. I would, yeah, definitely start with a sharper blade. My first 2 blades were not sharp whatsoever, and so I have a little bit of roughage. Some rough love. I have a little bit of rough love happening at the top of my cake, okay? But, yeah, we're just going to ignore all that, okay? Oh, and the other thing I never explained to you, that when you panel your cake, you're going to want to make sure you panel the top of your cake first, and then the sides of your cake. And the reason for that is so that way you're not seeing the seam in the front, right? So because I move the camera like this, you don't see the seam of the top panel. But if I move the camera back up, you would see that seam. And people don't look at cakes from the top looking down, they look at cakes from the front looking forward. So you definitely won't see the seam. I'm going to stab myself. See the seam like that. So just remember to always do the top portion and then do the sides. But it's really easy to panel your cakes. It was really easy to frost the cakes. Obviously, it's not 100% perfect. There's some things I would definitely change. But hopefully you guys were able to pick up some tips along the way. You know what looks weird?
Captain Audi, do you measure the same way with any shape or sculpted cake?
I do not measure the same way with every shape. Only because with other shapes, if, say for example, if it was a square cake, your square cake, well, okay, let me say this. For a square cake, I don't measure the entire round area of the cake. I just measure one side to one side. So if it was a square cake, I measure the height and the width of it to make sure that my piece of fondant is the same size of that height and width, but I always do maybe a half an inch or an inch wider, so that way I have some overlapping, and then I cut the sides off.
Earlier you said the reason your board is showing is because you didn't put hard.
Wait, who said?
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Who said the reason why the board is showing? Where are you at?
Green Meadow.
Oh yes, correct, Green Meadow. The reason why the board is showing is because I didn't add enough frosting. And yes, copped an Audi. It was because I was too lazy, like I said. And then I scraped the board too hard, so I made it show. But yeah, you could just add another layer of frosting to take care of that. Yeah, my British accent. Sometimes it comes out and then it'll turn into an Irish accent, and then sometimes it'll turn into an Australian accent, and then I end up being Australian and I can't get out of it. So I don't know why that is. But hopefully you guys learned a lot. See, it's becoming Australian already. Hopefully y'all learned a lot and had a good time. I did. I enjoyed you guys very much. I appreciate every single one of you for coming and joining in. I know my cake isn't 1000% perfect as I would like it to be. But I'm not upset with it. I'm not mad. I would definitely do something, like if this happened for a customer, depending on the theme, I would have to find something to hide this board. Yeah. I mean, my fondant wouldn't be white anyways, like, unless it was like a wedding cake, but yeah, I would have to do something to hide that board. But I hope you did learn something, and I appreciate every single one of you. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can check me out at Jelena Simpson. I put the Instagram in the description of the video that you can see. And then also, I will write in the description of the video my website as well, so that way you can go ahead and visit it. It's www.morecakeym.com, and there you can find all the things that I do. I will have a second channel that I'll add the link to that too, and that way you guys can follow me on my second channel. It's no big deal if you want to. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, you can if you want. It's whatever. It's nothing to do with cake on that channel, but you're more than welcome to. Is my hair falling now? You're more than welcome to, follow me, whatever. I'm just gonna throw that out there, leave it there, and but I appreciate you. I see the chat moving. Oh, it's ending. Yeah, yeah. I got to go. What I mean is, can you decorate using buttercream after you covered in fondant? Yeah, you can decorate using buttercream after you covered in fondant. Definitely. Nom, 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 nom. She sometimes turns Jamaican too. Oh, that's true. I sometimes am Jamaican. Yeah, with the kind of Caribbean, can't really place me. I just kind of come out the mouth sounding like I'm from some island. Thank you. This was great. Very informative. Learned a lot. I'm glad. Thank you. It looks great, and you did this live in under time crunch. Thanks, bestie. I had fun. Thank you. Thanks, Cop and Audie. I appreciate you, and I'm sorry we butchered your name for the first half of this, and couldn't figure out what your name was. Thank you. This was amazing and fun. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing and keeping us company. No, I appreciate you guys even staying around. I appreciate it. Thanks for the class. My pleasure, Kimberly. Thank you. Enjoyed all 3 hours and 14 minutes. I know. I said I would keep it at an hour and 30 minutes. I knew that was a lie when I said it, and I don't know why it came out of my mouth. I do this again, please. I definitely will. Sometimes I do. I haven't done a fake it with me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my fake it with me. It's when I do something based off of something not homemade, and I kind of bring together things that are already pre-made and make something that you could sell and make money off of. But I will be doing more of those real soon. Fake it with me. I'll be bringing that back. I will sign up for the membership. Awesome. Thanks, Dee. Cut the cake. Oh no, I gotta decorate it. I don't want to cut it. I gotta decorate it. I want to decorate it. I feel like you're going, ooh, cut the cake, like all suspect like. Can you come back tomorrow and decorate it with us? Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe let me give that some thought. I have to think about that, but I will definitely think about that because I do want to decorate this. I just haven't decided what I want to decorate it as. But if I decorate it, it'll be a video anyways. It may not be live, but it will be a video. Yeah, come back tomorrow. Thanks so much. Always a joy and great learning experience. Thank you. Yes, thank you. No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I really do. So yeah, I will talk to you. I'm going to change this too. I'm going to put Caking Through Corona for the title of this video. Instead of Quarantine Free Cake Class. It's Caking Through Corona. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I love you. I love you guys. Bye. I'll see you later. I see your comment. I'm more confident now because you learned from the best. You should do a pineapple upside down. I see you, Unique. You just want me to bring you a pineapple upside down cake. Girl. Okay, bye, guys. I'm hanging up now. I love you guys. I love you so much. Okay, bye.